welcome. Good to have you here. This show is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. I'm loving the, is it yellow or mustard?
Mustard.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I won't ask you what mustard is in Ghana, but you go ahead.
No, I don't know it.
Mustard.
I don't know it.
Mustard.
My grandma will probably not know. In their time, they didn't have mustard. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Breakfast on GTV. And boy, what a show we have packed for you today. Imagine living in Ghana and not getting any signal, radio signals or television signals from Ghana. So imagine having access to only maybe news from Togo or Burkina Faso or Côte d'Ivoire because you're not getting any signals in Ghana. That would probably not make you very happy, would it? So we have someone who's looking into that issue, and he will be sharing his thoughts with us. Napoleon Atukito, probably know him already by name. He will be having that sit down with us this morning. We'll also have another convo on fetal alcohol syndrome. Yes,
we are breaking it down. If you quaff while you are pregnant, you are doing damage to your baby.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. You're drinking, and then your baby too is drinking. Yep. So and it has serious implications.
Serious.
And we'll be finding out. Today is International Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Day. Break it down. Quaffing while you're pregnant, not good. You know why. You know why you shouldn't do that. And then, if you're a budding filmmaker, can you put a film together in 48 hours?
That would be hard.
Yes, and we have something like that coming up for you. If you're a budding filmmaker and you want to win a very interesting prize, if you can put together a film in 48 hours, 2 days, be on this show. Okay, hashtag GTV Breakfast. Good to have you here.
You should follow us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we are on YouTube as well, and we stream live. So leave your comments and thoughts and we'll read them out loud on the show. Also connect with us via our WhatsApp number 0555566134, and we will read your comments out loud. Say good morning, send some messages to loved ones, and we will read them out. Okay. On the show, Kaf, when you retire,
yes,
you stop working, don't you?
Charlie, I'm not going to retire. I mean, nominally, yes, but I'll still be keeping my mind active.
Let's see what the good doctor has to say about it.
Indeed, retire, but don't stop working. That's our wisdom nugget from Dr. Kofi Osei.
It's a good morning to you. So exciting always to come your way with a wisdom nugget for your day. It's a nugget to spice up your life, spice up your day, and spice up your year. And today I'm talking to my fathers and my mothers. I'm talking on the subject, retire, but don't retire. Retire, but don't retire. You know, my father told me a story about his 92-year-old friend who was a catechist of the Presby Church. He was a 92-year-old man, and he would go to the farm every single day apart from Sundays. He was a retired catechist, but he would go to the farm every single morning. And he would get to the farm, take off his shirt, and with a cutlass or an axe, he would be chopping down a tree. So when my father saw him and asked him, "Papa, why at your age, 92, you're still going to the farm? You're still working so hard on the farm. You have many grandchildren, over 30 grandchildren, and any of them could do the work that you're doing." And the catechist said to him, "You know what? One day I'm going to die, and God is going to ask me how I used the strength that he gave me." Now, here's my advice for us. Retirement, I believe, is just a myth. Retirement is an economic figure. But human beings, we were born never to retire. As long as we have health, as long as we have life, we were born to work. Work is a gift. Work is a precious gift that we all ought to cherish. It's a precious gift. And unless you are in such a physical state that you can never work, you should never stop working. And even if your body stops you from working, you should get your brain to continue to work. When you physically cannot work, you can imagine, you can create, you can draw, you can paint, you can advise, you can write. Please, as long as there is life, you should never ever look forward to retiring, because certainly a day is going to come where, whether we like it or not, we're going to be permanently retire. We're going to permanently retire when our breath ceases. But as long as we have health, you should never retire. There are a lot of people who are retired just at home, and all they may be doing is just watching TV, just sleeping and all of that, and yet they have so much experience. They have so much talents. It's time that as a nation and as a people and families, we start celebrating our elderly people and encouraging them to give back to society, that they can share the experience, they can share their thoughts, and they can help us to envision a greater and a better future. I want to challenge everyone. I want to challenge every elderly person, my daddies and my mommies. I want to challenge you and say that, please, don't leave this world with anything inside of you. You should pour out every single talent, every single gift, and every single wisdom, and every single idea, and every single experience, because we need it. We really need it. Even if people, make you feel like they don't really need you, they really need you. So don't stop doing what you're doing. Find opportunities to volunteer. Give off your best. You may be retired, but you should never retire. Today is the day to get up and start sharing your experience with the world, and you're going to be leaving a massive legacy. So enjoy your day. We need you. We need our elderly folks. We need our parents. We need our mommies and our daddies to get out there and to share their ideas, to speak up their minds, and so that we can all tap into the incredible wisdom that you have accumulated all your life. Enjoy your day. Lots of love and respect to you. Have a brilliant day.
Thank you, good doctor, for that wisdom nugget. Calf is just nodding and nodding and nodding. Yeah. Retirement is a myth, you said.
A myth. You go to the village and people, 80-year-olds are going to the farm. They haven't retired. Yeah, it's an urban thing.
There's more sleep after death.
No, they're working.
The good doctor said, once you die, then it all ends. But if you're still alive, keep going.
Yeah, healthy work. Yes. Everybody must work. Work hard.
So that's your wisdom nugget for today. Let's get updates of the weather and we'll be back. Yes, and we'll look at social media trends now. Yesterday, news broke that the former President John Mahama had made certain comments at a Chiman-based radio station regarding the election 2020 and outlook for election 2024, and the famous trend was do or die on Twitter.
Yep.
It has not completely died down, and the former president has been, he's still talking.
Yeah.
So he's been explaining what he meant after sections of the public raised concerns about his words. And he says he's not going to apologize because it's an idiomatic expression.
Yes, taking us to school.
He says some people
don't understand the English.
In their English class, they didn't get there. So, but you know what? Let's listen to the former President John Mahama's comments on his comment, and then we'll be back.
And so, you didn't write it. You say if you are dissatisfied, go to the court. You call court say, and see a demo. But then no America say, we learn lessons from it. Until the next election, and go Supreme Court view. We will do it at the polling station and collation center. And if you say it will be a do or die. They don't understand do or die.
Your Excellency, Wadaroma,
do or die. It's an English idiom.
Okay.
It's an
okay.
Over Africa, your proverbs, your bube.
Sure.
And here come as a young country in the straight format. Also, you the back and the backhand. In English, you have idiomatic expressions.
Sure.
Omo fi school in terms of idiomatic expressions as here. Do or die means a critical assignment you have, and you must do the needful or perish. And so you must do the needful. I just say, make us say, and this is me and train and go Supreme Court. There was here a year of polling station and the collation center was here. And so I don't retract. The next election for NDC is going to be a do or die affair.
So you do the right thing.
Former President John Mahama reiterating his point on his position that the NDC will consider the next election 2024 as a do or die affair.
Okay, so we'll read a couple of tweets, and then I'll also go to school and come up with the meanings, because he told us it's idiomatic expression. I didn't leave school early, but I also go for the definition. So do or die in John Mahama's voice sounds orgasmic. I've been playing the video and repeats. Visionary leader, listening leader, humble servant, and that's humble pal. A+ version of do or die. The brand days. If you don't do the right thing at the polling station, another 4 years of MVP will die you. That's the meaning of do or die. If you don't understand it, lick your elbow. John dare not retract that comment, or you hear ching, what's that ching? Like the sound of a gagba falling on the ground, right? In his ears. His council will see the level of disrespect they release in a statement, and that's Kevin Taylor, who is a thorn in the side of people, but a hero in others' eyes as well. If they don't understand do or die, tell them it's win or war. I think they'll better understand this. The soundbite government and the appendages are bleeding. One stone John Mahama through. Okay, enough of all those comments. Let's look at what the dictionary says about do or die.
Yes,
so I went to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Apparently, do or die first came into use back in 1873. That's when it was used. Now, synonyms for do or die. Fully committed to achieving a goal. For example, if a do or die entrepreneur who never stopped believing that hard work would inevitably lead to success. Now, these are very synonyms for do or die. Bent on or bent upon, bound, decisive, determined, firm, held bent on, intent, purposeful, resolute, resolved, set, single-minded. And then these are other words related to do or die. Bitter, vehement, certain, cocksure, confident, positive, sure, earnest, serious, steady, unfaltering, unhesitating, unswerving, unwavering, adamant, dogged, hard, hardened, hard-headed, headstrong, immovable, implacable, inflexible, mulish, obdurate, persistent, perverse, pig-headed, rigid, self-willed, stubborn, tenacious, unbending, uncompromising, unrelenting, unyielding, willful. And you have synonyms on one's metal, so do or die on one's metal. And then you, so basically those are the meanings of the word do or die. It came into the English language, first recorded 1873. So
former President John Mahama is reiterating that for the NDC, maintaining a high alert at the polling stations and at the coalition centers would be their focus and their rallying point in that election. They will not wait until things get to regional coalition centers, and then, you know, that's where they are saying that there were issues, or to wait until the results had been declared before going to the Supreme Court to seek an annulment or whatever in the court system. So they are going to play at the polling station.
Well, that is the
I read.
I just gave the dictionary definition of do or die because he was suggesting that people go and check and know the meaning of the idiom. So that's do or die.
And those who leave school early, please. I saw a tweet and somebody said, oh, it's because people leave school early. That's why Nanado brought free SHS. So that people can stay in school a bit longer.
Too many jobs. Too many jobs in this country, man.
You have to love this country. And the varying opinions, I think it helps to better understand some of the issues, especially for those who may not appreciate some of these things.
If all die didn't cause Ghana to burn, do or die shouldn't either. So,
and I maintain my position. I don't think we should use die in the same sentence as elections. Elections should not lead to anybody losing their life, and seeking political power or appointment should not be at the expense of somebody else's life. So let's all keep safe and not do anything that will compromise our own safety and the safety of the next person beside us. So it's not just do or die or all die be die. Guinea is also feeling the pinch.
Yes, indeed.
Of the shoes they wore with the coup.
Exactly.
And the military council in charge of the country now will have a hard task because they have been suspended from ECOWAS. Yesterday, President Akufo-Addo chaired that virtual meeting, and that was the outcome. He said, Guinea,
go out. Stand in the corner. If it were a school situation, go and stand
naughty
in the corner.
corner.
Yes, go and sit in the corner.
Naughty corner.
And
They've
face
been very
the corner.
naughty.
You think they care?
I would hope that because we, in the interest of fostering economic and, trade unions, and we have a goal of maintaining a certain leverage or standard for the rest of the world, for Ghana, then having Guinea on board in that way would help, because we already have issues from Mali, and Mali was also suspended, and there was a coup there, and all the back and forth. So for West Africa to remain off the radar of maybe the West, to say that, oh, it is a safe place to go, it is a good place to invest, so businesses can take advantage, it all feeds into that narrative. So I think that the idea is to make sure that the sub-region does not suffer the implications of what happens in one country. So we are told from what happened yesterday at the virtual meeting that a delegation would be sent to Mali as early as maybe today to monitor situations there. Luckily, there have been no economic sanctions imposed, just a suspension, as far as I understand at this point.
I think ECOWAS could have acted earlier when the man was going around changing constitution to declare the first 2 terms null and void to start again. If ECOWAS had stepped in there and suspended them.
You see, there are 2 arguments at play here, as far as I'm concerned. When a law is put in place, it takes effect from then. So unless the law says this law takes effect from X years ago, then it's starting from today. So one argument on the side of Alpha Conde is, if the law has been put in place today, it means whatever I've done in the past up until now is not under that
reset
particular law. So it's reset. The other argument is, but you've still served 2 terms. And that's where people have issues and said, look, even in the sub-region, leaders went to that inauguration, that 3rd term inauguration. And so on what basis would you say that you see, so people are reading double standards into ECOWAS's treatment of Guinea as against, for example, how Mali was treated during the coup. But
anyway, well, 80 political prisoners have been released from jail by the coup leaders. So we'll see how that plays out. It will be interesting to read the Guinean papers and listen to their radio stations, watch their TV stations to find out what they make of the suspension from ECOWAS. Do they really care? Are they really happy with what's going on? But so those are the big trends. And there's a fallout from this coup because Hearts of Oak, who were built to play a Guinean team in the CAF Champions League, now have a 2-leg encounter reduced to a one-off game in Accra, September 19th, 2021, which is 10 days from today. It's a one-off game that Hearts of Oak plays. If they win, they progress. If they lose, they are out. No second leg.
They take the 3 points.
Yeah, so those are some of the consequences.
And it tells you that even political happenings in the political sphere stretches across several industries and several sectors of a country's economy. And we're having this conversation live on GTV Ghana Television. We are streaming on Facebook, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We are also streaming on YouTube, and we are on Twitter and Instagram. So follow our social media handles, like our content, share our content, contribute to the conversation. You can also reach us on our WhatsApp line 055556134. That's our WhatsApp line. So send your questions and comments to us. We are grateful to you, Awake Purified Mineral Water, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, and Shield Acrylic Paint for partnering us on #GTV Breakfast. We'll be back to have this matter on the fetal alcohol syndrome and the dangers that we need to look out for our women who are pregnant, partners who have partners who drink, so men who have wives, partners who drink whilst they are pregnant, what you should look out for. All you need to know in that conversation coming up after the break. We'll be back.
Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
For yourself. If you do good, you do for yourself. No said your way, you'll be swaying, hey, on in a month of force to honor. We'll be so bold into a fabulous day. I've gone way to be no free, or be no free, we are seeing. But see, if you do bad, you do for yourself. Okay, I'm joy, official joy. It's a bonus. If you do good, you do for yourself. You do bad, do for yourself.
Yes, and we are live on GTV Breakfast. The hashtag to follow and use across all social media is hashtag GTV Breakfast. Follow our social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also on YouTube, and share our content as well, like our pages. And interact with us on WhatsApp. The number is 05555 61034 055 That's our WhatsApp number, and you can join all the conversations we'll be having on the program this morning. And we'll do rush hour now, and we'll monitor traffic situations on the Gifford Road, that's towards the trade fair area. My colleague Alan Darrell is standing by with the update. Alan, what can you tell us is happening on the Gifford Road? Alan Darrell? Might be having some difficulties hearing me. Alan is going to tell us the traffic situation towards the trade fair area of town. So that's on the La side. After Osu, you go to La, and then you continue on your way to Teshinungwa and then to Tema from there. And we want to understand what the traffic challenges may be this morning. Is it flowing or is it stationary? And my colleague Alan Darrell will tell us all that's happening there. Alan. I think we'll still wait a bit longer for Alan to get back in touch with us. Let's read a few of your messages. This one, you're not telling us your name or where you're messaging us from. It says, good morning. Former president should watch his utterances. He ought to carry himself and not open himself up to unnecessary bashing. I'm disappointed in the statement that those who dropped out of school early don't understand the spoken word. You didn't tell us where you're sending us that message from, but those are your opinions. And we must say that opinions expressed by persons represent their own and not that of GBC. We just carry them on as part of the broader conversation. And we're monitoring traffic situations around town. We're trying to get my colleague Alan Darrell to tell us what's happening on the trade fair area, and he will tell us that in a moment.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
And they call me UJ.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Thanks for staying with us. Sincere apologies for those technical hitches there, but we are back to monitor traffic on the Gifford Road, and Alan is ready with the details. Alan.
Hi, good morning, Telma. Good morning, Ghana. Welcome to Greater Accra. We're on the Gifford Road. The Gifford Road is that road that stands from the intersection of Elwak Stadium all the way through the Bema area and ends on the La Palm Royal Beach Road Hotel road. To my west is the road coming all the way from 37 Nima, Kaukudi and beyond. And behind me to northwards is the road that leads to Afgo Aviation Social Center and the airport terminals behind me. Towards my east is the one from the Elwak Stadium all the way towards the La Palm Royal Beach through the trade fair area, and then beyond there where you can connect to Accra, Teshi and the environs. Straight upwards from where I am, which would point southwards, would be the road of Intercantonment Exchange, and then the Ghana International School, the American Embassy and the Chinese Embassy. Now let's look at traffic towards my right as it builds up. This road would normally be teeming with life around this time, with school children, workers during the morning rush to work. Traffic flowing in from 37 this morning. It's very normal. The traffic lights are all functional, and so what you can see is a good flow in traffic from 37 towards the Bema Camp area. When we point towards the Aviation Social Center area, towards the airport, what we have is a good build-up, a very good build-up of traffic coming in from there. I must emphasize that this traffic would hold you for about at least 3 to 4 minutes. And so commuters coming in from East Legon and its environs, if we'll have to use this stretch of road, please be prepared to stay in traffic for at least 3 to 4 minutes and you are fine to go. There would normally be a police officer at this intersection who is aiding traffic flow, but arriving here this morning, there isn't any such assistance from the Ghana police. We're unable to fly our eye in the sky due to our proximity to the airport. It's a restricted airspace, and so we can't fly our drone this morning to bring you the aerial view of the traffic situation. What we have, however, is our stills, and we can see a good build-up also from the Bema Camp area towards the 37 end. A pan through the cantonment area, and you have a virtually empty traffic flow. What there is, however, is life with hawkers and workers around this area, the Lands Commission, the Bema Camp area, the Afgo area, all getting onto their work. You also have good life with school children around here. If you're heading towards the airport from wherever and you have to use this intersection, be assured that traffic this morning isn't as bad. You can, however, be assured also that beyond this time, traffic would be more than likely to come up and it would take a little of your time. And so find alternative routes if you're using the Gifford Road this morning. Thank you very much, Telma. And this is the traffic situation, rush hour at Gifford Road.
Thank you, Alan. Darrell, so traffic looking fairly normal on that stretch. Alan is telling us there's a good flow of traffic from the 37 area. There's a slight build-up from the Bema Camp to 37 end, and the expectation is that it could get worse, so allow some time for travel, and bear in mind that that situation could quickly change as it gets an hour or 30 minutes from now. So bear that in mind. We also monitor traffic in Dowinya, and Jay Gabra will tell us what's happening around the police station area. Jay.
Okay, so thank you for the Thelma. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to GTV Breakfast. So this morning we are at Dowinya Junction, and this place is quite a trouble spot for commuters who use this corridor, heading towards Aflawa, wherever they may be going, heading towards Pong, towards the motorway, and all those areas. So this morning we're here to highlight the situation and create awareness so that if there are various authorities who are listening to us, the residents here are appealing to them if they can help them, for instance, to fix the Dowinya Afienya Road. The road committers here have admitted this side gives them a hell of a time for road users who use this road network connecting to the main road. It's in a state of deterioration, and they are pleading with authorities to come and aid them on their behalf. It's quite a terrible stretch, and they are pleading that they will come to their aid. So this morning, for those who are heading towards Mapam and all that, you can tell this junction is quite a hot spot. You realize that there's no kind of traffic situation for people who want to cross the road. So it's, in terms of pedestrians who want to cross to the other side, they have a tough time crossing the road. So these are the scenes happening right now at Dowinya Junction. So for those who are coming from the Central University area, heading towards Pong, Committee 25, VRA, heading towards the motorway, when they get to this spot, there will be a bit of a hold-up until they get to Committee 25, where, as we all know, that area, they will be held up for a bit. So for those who are going towards Pram and towards Central University and those environs, they are fine at the moment. It's for those who are heading towards Committee 25, VRA Junction, that area, motorway and all that, they will face some bit of traffic. So for now, for road commuters who come and use the spot, there's a side where they usually face a bit of traffic. And so for this is what we want to highlight on this morning for rush hour. And you can tell people are about their business, people boarding vehicles, the Okada people are also about their business, people selling their wares. And I understand there was one gentleman I met, his name is William. And apparently the traffic gets thick in the evening, so much so that when he gets home from work in the evening, he has to stay at his mother-in-law's place with his kids. So when it goes down in the evening, then they can go make their way home. So these are the scenes, this is the kind of experience residents here face during rush hour. So this has been the report this morning. So for those who are going towards Accra, at this moment, you will be fine until you get to Committee 25 towards the motorway area.
Thank you, Jay, bringing us live scenes from Dowinya Junction. Fairly free-flow traffic at that spot, but Jay is telling us that connecting towards the motorway area may be a bit slow, but it looks good from that spot towards the Central University area towards Pram. That one is flowing perfectly. He's telling us the situation gets really bad towards the end of the day, so the close of day rush hour is very bad and commuters spend hours in there. Some road concerns also, no crossing for pedestrians, and portions of the road are also bad, and residents are calling for attention to be paid to those sectors. So that's what to expect by way of traffic in the Dowinya area. And so if you're leaving home, we hope that we've helped you to plan your journey better. You're watching GTV Breakfast. There's more ahead. And here's a message. It's from Kobe Nash. You said you're watching us live inside Cape Coast and Brafuyao, and you say you guys are doing a great job. Keep the fire burning. We appreciate your comment. You can send your comments as well to our WhatsApp line 055-556-1034. Follow us across our social media handles and let's hear your thoughts. We'll have so many things packaged for you in this program, and we'll be back to continue after the break. Stay with us.
from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm in the knowledge that death can never extinguish the torch which I have lit in Ghana and Africa. Long after I am dead and gone, the light will continue to burn and be borne aloft, giving light and guidance to all people. Kwame Nkrumah, beautiful, immortal words uttered many years ago, 12 days away from celebrating what would have been his 112th birthday. Welcome to the show, hashtag GTV Breakfast. A quick question before we go into our headline discussion. So I asked the discussion, I wake up at 4:30 and then have breakfast around 11, which I found out wasn't healthy. So the experts say you should eat 2 hours after you've woken up. And so from today, I've started eating at 6:30 because, yes, I wake up at 4:30. So I asked the question, what time do you normally wake up and have your breakfast? Well, Don Kamara says, I take my first meal around 4 a.m. Wow. Mansa Musa, what a powerful name. Whenever it's ready and available, that's when he eats. Kole Ojam says, I do wake up 4 a.m. every morning and have a cup of coffee at 6:30 a.m. You are like Thelma. She likes her coffee very early in the morning. Atachi Richard says, I eat gobe at 6:30 or 6:40. The latest is 6:50 or 7 o'clock. This man is very precise. I think he's an engineer. And finally, Steve Imano says, in this modern Ghana, Breakfast is between 10 a.m. to midday. Lunch is between 3 and 7 p.m. Supper, ... nothing till the following day. Interesting comments there. When do you eat your first meal of the day? I'd like to find out 055-556-1034. In today's show, we have a lot for you. So these women who have been quaffing while you are pregnant, you're damaging your baby. You're giving your baby fetal alcohol syndrome. And there are serious consequences, and that conversation will be happening before this show is out. For those of you who want to become filmmakers, there's a 48-hour film challenge that you want to be part of. And then we'll keep an eye on happenings at West Africa Pipelines and La Road. So you stay with us. This is GTV Breakfast. Good morning. Welcome to the show. WhatsApp number 055-556-1034. My guests are Vice Chairman of the NDC in the Volta region, George Lowe, former MP also of North Dai, Wizo. And I also have former MP, so two formers here, of Ayen Shano in the Eastern region, Mr. Samuel Ayepe. Hey. Good? or you just learned that right now?
No. He has a fair collection of efforts in his constituency.
By 40% of my questions.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So yes, I schooled with most of the best. Unfortunately, I couldn't learn.
It's not too late. Got to cheat you a couple of months before we're done. Okay, so we've got a couple of. I just want to run through the headlines and then we go to our first conversation. Farmers. Graphic business. Farmers shun insurers. We have 5 million farmers. Only 29,000 are insured, and you're supposed to be getting insurance against weather-related issues, which happen every year. But less than 30,000 farmers are interested in insurance. That's a big headline there, front page of today's Graphic Business. Business Finder. The big headlines: American companies thriving in Ghana. Ghana, Ethiopia to deepen ties. The Ethiopian head is in town for chats with the president. PWDs, people with disabilities, are threatening a demonstration. This is the news day over conditions at toll booths. So they are not happy with the conditions. Minerals Commission presses the alarm button. That's another headline on the front page of today's news day. Daily Ghanaian Guide 2024 poll, do or die. NDC hails Mahama and Ghana Water Company to cut water supply to parts of Accra, because of where those areas are. And on the front page of today's Daily Graphic, ECOWAS suspends Guinea, and contractors face prosecution over road damage. And the big one is mentally ill persons invade our streets, threaten efforts to keep cities clean. So mentally ill persons are increasing on the streets across Ghana, threatening the objective to keep cities and communities clean. According to the Mental Health Authority, the surge is due to increasing population, coupled with inadequate infrastructure and funding to manage the rising trend. So this is a big story, front page of today's Daily Graphic. And we do have the CEO of the Mental Health Authority to speak with us on this particular issue. Good morning, sir, and welcome to GTV Breakfast.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Is this Dr. Osei?
Speaking.
Dr. Osei, good to have you here. This is Kafri Day. We're following a story on the front page of today's Daily Graphic, mentally ill persons invading the streets. And I've seen pictures. Most of them seem to be men. And they're scattered all around parts of the capital. What really is going on? Why do we seem... Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you, Kafui, and good morning to your viewers and listeners. What is going on is that we as a nation have not lived to our responsibility of taking care of the vulnerable. What I mean is that if you go to the developed world, you will not see that. And that is not to say they don't have persons with mental illness. They all have. But they have put in place proper structures of managing them, so to ensure that they don't, you don't see them on the streets the way we see them.
What are the proper structures for managing
that's what I'm going to
them? Yes.
Now, one of them is, as a nation, we don't take interest, and a typical example is the way I've already I've not read the story yet, but the way that it was captured, mental ill persons invade the streets. We are making efforts to keep the streets clean, and mental ill persons are invading. So the emphasis here is not on the welfare of the persons with mental illness, but just the fact that they are a nuisance, being on the streets, mess up the streets, not helping us to keep the clean. That is where the emphasis is, and that's opportunity. But that is what typifies our appreciation of persons with mental illness and how we handle them. Now, this same appreciation also goes on up to the policymakers. So nobody keeps an interest in them. Just if you can get a way of keeping them away from the streets, you will just be happy with that. But that is not so. So we have not been interested in providing the necessary logistics and infrastructure for them. Until now, that, thank God, the government is going to build 2 new psychiatric hospitals, one in the middle belt, one in the northern belt. All our hospitals have been just at the southern belt of the country. All our 3 psychiatric hospitals. So we have not put in place adequate structures to take care of those within the middle and the northern belt. Now, financially, we don't have adequate resources given to us so that we can attend to them. You may realize that you may remember about 5, 6, 7 years ago, Accra Psychiatric Hospital, we embarked on a process of going to town and bringing 5 patients at a time to the hospital, treating them. Within 1 or 2 months, they are well, and we take them to their very communities, their homes, where they come from. And we were able to take about 100. But we didn't have money to continue it, so we had to stop. We didn't have the support to continue, so we had to stop. Now we estimate that for every 1 person on the street you bring to the hospital to treat, in terms of the clothing, medication, feeding, accommodation, and then what is well, repatriating or sending him back to his community. It would take about 10,000 Ghana cedis. Where are you going to get the money from? And around that 7 years ago, when we did a rapid assessment of patients on the streets all over the country, we had about 16,000, out of which about 1,600 in Accra and Tema alone. So if we have 16,000 now, the population increasing, and the persons with mental illness, their population also increasing, we can estimate about 20,000, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 in Accra alone, and we are going to spend 10,000 on each person. Where would we get the money from? And we are not getting adequate funding from government. So we've been saying that government should establish the mental health levy so that we can get funding to take them and treat them. We need everybody support, the media support, general support, goodwill of the government, everybody, so that we can establish the levy, mental health tax, so we get adequate money to support that effort. Then we can get them all.
How far away are you from success as far as this mental health levy is concerned?
We haven't gone far. Every time, some time back, we get answers. You tell us where are the areas we can touch with respect to tax. We show them, we discuss with them, and that was all. But this include maybe just take a little bit, even 50% for everybody's salary a month. You get something, or else take part of existing levies like stock tax. As you are talking, they are taxing us. Stock tax, you can take part of it. Fuel tax, you can take part of it. National health insurance tax, you can take part of it. Road tax, you can take part. Already existing levies, taxes, take a little bit from, let's say, 4 areas. You will get enough. There is what you call sin tax. There is tax on alcohol, tobacco. We can take part of it because at the end of the day, they all contribute towards mental illness. So we should also get part of their tax to treat them. So we have identified these areas, and government seems not too keen, not eager. So we haven't got far, I would say.
You're saying they don't really care about...
We require strong advocacy by media and by the public for the government to hear.
Are you saying that Ghanaians generally do not care too much about mental health issues?
Ghanaians don't care much. The care we give is very little. as you speak right now, you, after I was speaking, you open the phone calls and allow people to comment. Yes, you all love it, but then go further and say, let people contribute money. There, you won't hear anybody talk like it.
What can somebody do in the short term to help with this case of mentally ill people on the streets, homeless, not being cared for? What can somebody do, somebody who wants to help right now? What can that person do?
I would not be interested in short term. I would say let's put strong advocacy. If anybody has the case of somebody in government, let him tell that person. So let people speak to their MPs, let people speak to their PCs and MPs, let people speak to the ministers they know, let people speak to the president. That is a strong advocacy I want. I can say that yes, 10,000 go and bring one patient. You bring the 10,000 go and bring one patient. What about the remaining? But it's a strong advocacy, that's what we want. So let people come in very strongly and speak. I would say that after we talking, call Minister for Health, call Minister for Finance, call if you have somebody from Francis House. Let's call that strong advocacy. Every government listens to the people. Let the government know that this is what the people want. And it's not just a question of who wants it. If you put in that strong advocacy, that is what I want. So not just token contribution, just a short-term measure. I want strong advocacy.
Dr. Say, when was the last time you made a call to these people that you are listening? You have the ear more than other people.
Over the years, you said the last time, every single time, I've made this point over and over and over. I go to Parliament and I tell them that Parliament, you are even encouraging us to do an illegality. I tell parliamentarians, you are encouraging us to do illegality of charging patients when they come to the hospital because they don't have adequate money. Nobody is able to raise any finger because they know that is true. So I've been talking to them. That's why I want a different voice, somebody else to add to the same story. And not just, I don't know how the media, how the story was captured, whether it even took a stupid advocacy for it.
Do you feel like giving up sometimes?
Sorry?
Do you feel like giving up sometimes?
No. Winners don't quit. Winners don't quit. You won't give up. You will need to continue. In fact, we know that, for instance, if you don't have enough money for everything, the national cake is small. And I'm being fair, the national cake is small. You all recognize. Now we are talking about roads everywhere bad, rains, washing down some roads. We need money to fix. We need money for various businesses. So the national cake is small. If the national cake is small, then if I were in the shoes of the policymaker, I would tend to give attention to it. I think it's a policy. I think. So it will require somebody else to push me for them to recognize that. And therefore, just saying, quitting will not be recognizing the general overall picture. So you just need to keep pushing. And I'm trying to continue pushing until I believe in myself and not just quitting.
We support you 100%, Dr. Akwesi Osei. Thank you very much. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority, and he's responding to a story that's on the front page of today's Daily Graphic. Mentally ill persons invade the streets, and he even has a problem with that headline, making it seem as if we are going to war with people who have health challenges. Mr. Lowe, he specifically said Parliament needs to do more to pass what he's suggesting, a mental health levy, so that some money will come, a lot of money will come to be used to take care of people who have mental health issues. You can't argue with that, can you?
Well, Kafi, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning to your cherry viewers. My brother, long time no see.
Yeah, I'm around.
Avi, you see, I think that I sympathize with Dr. Say, and I accept his view, or I agree with his view that as a state, as a nation, as a people, we do not seem to prioritize mental health, or we don't even see it as something important. We see them as the other, but we see them more as a nuisance. And so even in our families, you are in a hurry to see their back, rather than focus on how we can bring them back to a standard normal state, if it's possible. I have a deep understanding of our mental health because, as a member of the Lions Club, we've done a lot of activities with the psychiatric hospitals. We go there. I even had the opportunity to visit psychiatric hospitals out of Ghana. And Kafri, when you get there, you feel sad that even those who have been brought for some kind of rehabilitation, the circumstances under which they live. Recently, we had to go and build I don't know how to put it, but put foam on the walls of one of the wards there, because when they are agitated, they hit their head around the wall, but for that foam, people, they get cuts and things like that. And you ask yourself, is that how we want to treat our fellow human beings? So clearly, there's a huge problem of mental health. Now, for me, the solution that he's looking for, is that the only option out? I'm happy my brother is here. And you see, as for levy, it is not popular with anybody. Let's face it. There are certain instances where Parliament may want to put a levy. It's a very unpopular situation. But the question I ask is, when you say National Health Insurance Authority, is mental health not is mental health not a health issue? And why wouldn't we cater for it under the National Health Insurance? Must we now go and pass another legislation and introduce another? It's a road that we shouldn't even be worried about.
The argument is that the National Health Insurance
that we have enough systems
must take care of it.
We have enough systems within which to accommodate mental health. Mm-hmm. What we are doing is that we simply are not prioritizing them and seeing them as important. You understand? Mm. And that is where the advocacy should be.
Okay.
That, look, within the National Health Insurance spectrum, there should be a particular percentage or a figure that is dedicated to the Mental Health Authority. Because, of course, Dr. Osei I've known for a long time. And he has been advocating this Mental Health Authority team for a long time. Now it has come. Mm-hmm. But what is a Mental Health Authority without a dedicated source of funding? So clearly, it's a policy issue.
Okay.
Now, I agree with him that Parliament must do more. Why must Parliament do more? Because Parliament is able to whip the government, the executive, to take certain decisions. And so one of the decisions should be that Parliament should invite the Minister of Health and find out how these things can be resolved. How within the National Health framework, we can have dedicated funds to mental health and ensure that those monies are released tenuously for them to be able to do or carry out their program and reach out to our brothers, unfortunately. But as a collective, we also have a duty. It's not only Parliament. Parliament is only our representative, but as a collective, Kafri, when we see these people out there, what is our attitude? When it happens that a family member unfortunately falls into that category, how is it treated? How are the institutions that are supposed to help? I'll give you a practical example as I speak now. There is somebody who is thought to have gone to guy and has been beating people in my constituency. And so he was taken to court, and the judge had ordered that he should be sent to the psychiatric hospital. As we speak, he is still in police cells. You know why? Because police first of all are asking that he should be fed. The family or whoever came to report should be bringing food or should be sending money for him to be fed. And then now money should be provided for him to be transported to the psychiatric hospital. What kind of begging?
Doesn't make sense.
You see?
Yeah.
But we should have a clear-cut, ways of handling this.
Okay.
People at the state expense.
All right. So I hear you. So I'm hearing from George. It's about the funds. It's about the laws. It's about even the attitudes. Let me come to Mr. Ayepe. So let me talk about attitude. Years ago, I remember distinctly before the NAM conference, mentally challenged people were rounded away and then just hidden before our guests came. And after the guests left, they duly resurfaced. In Ghana, the thing is to hide these problems. When is that going to change? The fact that it's an embarrassment to have somebody who has a mental health problem. And so we cover it, treat them as invaders. The Daily Graphic just said it. And don't let people see. Is that not one of the biggest challenges to attacking the problem head on?
Kafi, let me first say good morning to you and your listeners. And also, let me commend GTV or GBC. I'm a regular panelist, and for one reason or another, I've not been here for over 3 months.
We did this for you.
And coming here, I've seen very beautiful studio. Even entering into GBC, you could see a clear change. Yes, they have experienced presenters and staff here, yet they have augmented the staff with personalities like you. And I think we have to commend them. They are doing very well. They know I'm being a strong critic of GBC. So when they are doing good, we also have to commend them for
Thank you very much.
The good thing they are doing for
We're happy to have you back.
Yes. Remember that it dates back to our tradition, the way we treat mental ill persons with disability, person with mental challenge. Even in the olden days, when somebody had a mental problems, people don't want to associate. Family members, they say that, oh, if somebody is coming to marry from the house and they see that there's a person with a mental ailment in the house, the person may not come. So these things have grown to a stage where we are seeing the situation now. Yes, you are asking of us trying to cover up or say to prevent our guests from seeing things like this, not only mental health. This NAM conference at the time that at a point in time we have to use plywood to cover part of Lima Highway so that our guests will not see the structures that we have in this country. I think it's important we allow them to see so that if there's a need for them to assist it, they do so. For
you
me,
do tidy your house when your guests are coming, don't you?
I do, but I don't think we have to wait until I'm going to receive guests before I start keeping my house neat. I have to do that always. So it is important we look at it. My colleague, former MP, made mention of the National Health Insurance. This fund comes to Parliament every year for a formula. So it is important that we take a percentage for the mental health authority so that they can take good care of these mental health people for us.
So would you advise them, you could be a consultant now since you are a former MP, would you advise them to lobby Parliament to make sure that there's a formula, they are included in the formula?
Yes, the formula actually initiates from the Ministry of Health and the National Health Insurance Authority. So the lobbying should start from there. Also, when it gets to Parliament, Parliament can ask the National Health Insurance Authority, the Ministry of Health, to put in a percentage specifically for the Mental Health Authority. As soon as you made a law or an act to make an institution an authority, it means you are giving them some powers to do something that they need finances, they need money to do it.
Otherwise, it's just a name change.
Exactly.
It's just a name change.
For me, I don't think getting a new levy for mental health is the way for us to go. I'm of the view that we should try and then go into National Health Insurance Fund and reserve a percentage of the fund for mental health care in this country. We seem not to care, but it affects us. Quite recently, under the how do you call it?
Interchange.
The new interchange is not a new one. The one at the of Anchor.
Yes.
Somebody was cooking and
seriously.
Everything. Not the fufu pani one.
Another one?
Yeah, yes, before the fufu pani. There was this mental ill person who is taking the place as his home. He was washing, cooking, drying they close everything there. And some of these mental health people too, because of the way they move around, the way they sleep, they carry all forms of infections, and we mingle with them in markets, areas, on the street, and all that.
So there's a risk of violence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we should try as a country to have a policy, as my brother just said. There must be a clear-cut policy to take care of them, or to make sure that they will not continue to be on the street, or for us to mingle with them all the time.
Okay.
Some of them are also curable. Some of these diseases that they go through, some are preventable, some are curable. So in an attempt to reduce their numbers on the street, apart from taking some money to take all of them, we must also think of prevention. How we can prevent mental ill in this country, how we can also try to treat and cure those that we can. That can also help to reduce the number. But all this cannot be done if we don't have enough money for the mental health authority, who will be responsible for some of these
money
things.
and attitudes.
Yes, education, how we can maintain some of them, send them to rehabilitation centers, to back them, getting them back to the street. Even at times, the mental hospitals are having a challenge for families to accept them back into the society.
That's a big
point. All these things must also be done through education. Indeed. And they can do that. If there's no money, they cannot educate family members to accept those who have recovered from mental health. So all these factors must be considered, and I think we can do it. If we refuse to do it, at the end of the day, it comes back to us.
Indeed. Thank you so much. And that point of family members accepting their cured relatives is a big one, because there are so many. I am a good ambassador for the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, and I know so many cases of people who have been cured, healed, but nobody comes for them.
Exactly.
So then they stay. They stay, they roam the streets, they stay. Nobody comes for them.
That thing is also just a matter of not having a proper arrangement in place.
Yeah.
You see, in my constituency, I have a community pharmacy. And you see, when they come back, they must be on medication.
Yeah.
But once you cannot, families cannot find the medication, there is a relapse.
Indeed.
So once there is one relapse or the other, people have the infection. These people, Charlie, they never really get sorted out properly. And that before you know.
So it's a systemic thing. Maybe so the drugs even have to be
interrogate these things.
Exactly.
And get that there's some follow up. They are handed over to somebody in the community who
will take care of them.
Will ensure they're on drugs, ensure that he monitors them, and then, you know, those kind of.
There are messages coming in on the mental health issue. It's a big deal. You know, it's a big deal. 055-556-1034. The number is scrolling on the screen. So this is Mark from Bachona. Seeing mentally challenged persons walk about naked on the streets and eating from dumps always breaks my heart. It's like we don't value human dignity in this country. I hope and pray that our leaders will wake up and act quickly to save us from this embarrassing canker. Families also have to wake up and show more love, because everyone on the street comes from a home. That person has a mother, a father, brothers, sisters. Nobody's a stone, you know. So while we're waiting for government, families can also take action and help their loved ones. This is another one. Nice topic. Very happy it's being discussed. This is Angel Prime from Amanfro. I believe there should be a holistic approach to what our prisons and our mental health facilities, which we don't have, are the true reflections of our society. We should walk in clinics everywhere. We should have walk-in clinics everywhere for people to access. Example, how can someone depressed walk into a police hospital, Kolebu, SNID, wait in a long queue to look for an intervention? We lack health professionals to help this issue. We need to look at this holistically. Thank you for your comments. 055-556-1034. This is GTV Breakfast. My guests are both former members of parliament. One from the Eastern region, Samuel Aipe, and one from the Volta region, George Lowe. Looking at the headlines, we've seen mental health. Now let's do some politics, because these are politicians. 2024 poll, do or die. NDC hails Mahama. Daily Ghanaian Guide. And grassroots supporters of the main opposition, NDC, have hailed their leaders' 2024 election do or die comment. So he's been going around the country thanking people who voted for him, and he spoke on live radio in Techiman and said that the NDC has learned bitter lessons at the 2020 polls, arguing that those lessons will, those things will not be repeated in 2024. And so he has introduced a new word into the political vocabulary, do or die. And it appears that your party is quite flustered. I heard one of your gentlemen shouting about Mr. Mahama and his friends. Bring it on. He sounded almost like a movie actor. What's the fuss and fighting all about?
Elections in Ghana and around the globe, it's not about do and die. It is when the soldiers are staging coup d'etat that they say go and do or die.
How do you understand do or die?
Do or die.
Yes.
It means you go and you do it at all costs. And by all means you have to do it or you die. And since nobody wants to die, you have to do it. And when you are doing it, you must do it at all costs. Even if you have to take your life for you to do it, you must do it. And that is not the way elections is being. It is not war. It is war that is said if you don't fight, kill to win, you will be killed. So do or you die.
Do you buy Mr. Mahama's defense of his own words?
Yes.
He says this is idiomatic expression.
Yes, that's why
idioms.
That's why you learn English in school. You do idioms and their meanings. So you cannot have your own meaning. You get my point? You cannot have your own meaning. Say, I've said this idiomatic expression and this is the meaning for it. It has a meaning that we all know. It's a language. So as soon as you speak it, the meaning is there for people to understand. Other than that, it's not a language. You can't say one thing for people to understand, then you tell them to say that this is not the meaning of what I said. Unless maybe you have your own language that you are introducing into the system. But once it is an idiom, he himself is expressing that this is an idiomatic expression. It means it is something that he wants people to understand. That is why he said it.
In the context of what he said the elections will be a do or die affair.
At the police station.
Yeah, no, the do or die. So do or die there is being used as an adjective. It's describing what the elections will be like.
Yes. So if you go to the police station, you have to do it or you die. And
you are now talking literally.
No, that is not what he meant.
But he said he spoke idiomatically.
What is the meaning of that? If we say that is why in school they will say explain the meaning of these idiomatic expressions. And if your meaning is different from the meaning of what had been understood by all, that this is the meaning of this idiom that you are speaking, you mark it wrong. So you cannot sit and tell your teacher, your English teacher, that for me, this is the meaning of what I mean by this idiomatic expression that I've made.
So should we go to the dictionary and find out what do or die means?
We can, why not?
Okay.
So we can.
Okay.
If you go there, the idiom do or die means that you must at all costs win.
Let me read.
Let me read.
So do or die, adjective, showing or requiring a determination not to compromise or be deterred. The mercenaries fought with a do or die fanaticism.
Exactly.
So showing requiring a determination not to compromise or be deterred.
Yes.
So.
And then go down there and listen.
So they give an example. Mercenaries fought with a do or die fanaticism. I'll show you more. Used to describe a critical situation where one's actions may result in victory or defeat.
Yes. So what he's trying to say is that you go and do it or you die. So at all costs I must win. Even if I'm not winning, because my leader say I must do or die, I have to do it. And when our democracy, we introduce democracy in this country to prevent this kind of fights, coup d'etat, where people have to win at all costs. Other than that, then I have to kill to win. That is why democracy is introduced.
Is the timing of the comments making you jittery?
It's not a timing.
Considering what is happening in the neighborhood?
No, what I'm saying, it's not a timing. It is the fact that we want to maintain our democracy. It is the best form of government that we all can say that, yes, we are practicing now. So for me, it is not only Mahama or the former President Mahama.
But let's stick with him. He made the comments. He made the comments.
Yes,
are his comments a threat to democracy?
It is. He's a statesman, a former president.
No, I think it's a threat to democracy.
It is. It is, because when you do this, what you are trying to do is to encourage your followers to be at the police station, to be in the election, to make sure that whether sign, we must win, even if you have to take my life for me to win. I have to do that because my leader say I should do or die. I'm not adding. That is the meaning. That is what people are now trying to understand what he said.
So is this comment on the same level as all die be die?
I said I will condemn all die be die and this as well.
Did you condemn it back
yes,
then?
I did.
Back then?
Yes, I
before
did.
The president,
yes, I did.
Then candidate.
Yes, I did.
Made his
I said
apology.
That people were trying to misunderstand what the Nana Addo Akufo-Addo said.
But people with the same allegation that you're making right now.
I said that you should have used a better word than
like what is better? What is better
like
than all die be die?
What
is better?
So also, former President Mahama
should have used a better word.
Exactly.
What I mean, as a consultant, as a linguistic consultant, what would you have suggested that he say?
Well,
instead of
make sure that you be vigilant at the police station for you not to be cheated.
But you politicians, you talk in such long sentences. You like short things that people will remember.
I watch. These short things will also give different meaning for people to act. So,
but did it affect our election last time? When the president then candidate said all die be die, did it affect the election?
Well, maybe because we talk about it, we digest the issues, people come in to condemn it, others try using other forum to make sure that people don't go by that or die be die statement. I think it did not affect us so much in the election. So also, this one we must try to condemn it. We must try to let people to understand that democracy is not all about someone dying for the other.
And finally,
go be in the queue, cast your vote. That is why we have agents there to make sure that yes, the vote is counted, your candidate will not be cheated. It's not about do or die affair, go and kill. Who should die for whom?
But you see, even without similar inflammatory statements, people died in the previous election.
Yes, in all elections from 92,
people have been dying.
To date. You may have one or a few people, some as a result of violence in the election, some as a result of maybe
Are you saying it's normal?
Increase. It is not normal. I'm not saying it's normal, but it's something that has been happening that we should all try work to prevent it. You see, but we should not try to say that it is only the 2020 election that we have experienced this. It has been happening, and it is the prayer of all of us to make sure that we can one day get up, have election for a whole day without one person even losing his life.
And finally, before I bring in George, are your party members trying to deliberately demonize Mr. Mahama, adding meanings to what he said?
For what reason?
Yes, to make him look bad in the eyes of Ghanaians.
Well,
paint him as a violent person, because now he's also talking that he's saying he's a rowdy person, he's not a violent person. Are your things working?
You know, in politics, and my friend will bear me out. Even in our various constituencies where we are campaigning as parliamentary candidates, your opponent will listen to you, and your opponent will try to explain what you have said to the electorate. What you will say will define you to those who are going to vote for you. That's why when you are making any pronouncement, you have to be very careful and know who you are. What will the people take your statement to be? How will your opponent take the message and circulate it around? Will it affect you? So all these factors must be considered when candidate you are making a statement. And this statement is not coming from any other person but the former president where people listening to. You've just read when the NDC is trying to say that he has said anything harmful and therefore they are hailing him for what he said. But we have to be very careful as a country. We might have been somebody who has benefited from democracy that gave me opportunity for me to serve as a member of parliament for my constituency for 12 good years. So I will not do anything that will destroy our democracy. So also democracy has given him the benefit to serve his people right from
and he shouldn't do anything.
Assembly member up to vice to president.
Okay.
So he should not do or say anything that will motivate people to do things that will destroy the democracy that we are enjoying in this country.
Let me bring
ours have been one of the finest in West Africa.
Even though people die every 4 years.
I'm not saying it's good for people to die. I said it to be better for us to get up one day to have
nobody
elections
has died.
And nobody.
Okay, let me bring in George. George, this do or die thing is wahala. Why is Mr. Mahama speaking like this?
What has Mr. Mahama said?
He said the election will be a do or die affair, and it means that
well, you see,
your grassroots have been energized. It's almost like they drank some energy drink and they are fired up.
I am very happy that our grassroots are fired up, and I hope that Mr. Mahama, even as he continues with his President Mahama, even as he continues on his thank you tour, gives a lot more hope to the grassroots by saying things that will make them understand that never should the NDC allow its people to be intimidated on election day the way it was done in the year 2020.
Not everybody will understand the idiomatic expression of do or die. The argument is that he could have used different language.
Mr. Mahama, or President Mahama, is one of the finest communicators we have in this country. Nobody can doubt that. He chooses his words carefully. He chose these words in an idiomatic manner. He used the expression in an idiomatic manner. It is for you to either accept what he says or go and sit in some back room somewhere and couch out your own understanding.
But George, you also know that it's not what you say, but it's how
but
your
that is the beauty. That is the beauty of
what
it.
You say.
Kafi, that is the beauty of it. Look at the personality.
Has he not opened himself to Mr.
Look at the personality saying this. I'm not cutting.
I'm not cutting. You are cutting. You are cutting. So,
but just second.
No. Just do a profile. Just do a profiling of President Mahama saying in the next election it's going to be do or die, and President Nana saying or die be die. Profile the two personalities and juxtapose it or extrapolate it to 2020. In 2020, whilst we were shouting that let's go on the street, it was Mr. Mahama who said no. Let's go the democratic route. It could have led this country into anything.
Why has he changed?
He hasn't changed.
No, he's saying
please, I am saying that when your members have been shot at, killed at polling stations, where we see electoral officers changing figures and hiding collation sheets and things like that. You see, one of the things we don't do in this country is when something happens, we just talk. But have you followed Mr. Mahama after President Mahama after the year 2020 election? At a point, he did say that one of the problems we possibly had was that at the polling station, we're not as vigilant as we should be. So, moving forward, in saying that, look, this time, given the meaning of do and die,
do or die,
do or die, it is going to be that everybody would have to give it its best shot. Otherwise, the flip side is that what? We get defeated. We believe that if we were vigilant, or if we are vigilant, right, to the extreme, we will not make room for anybody to manipulate the elections. What is so difficult about this one? For the NPP to go into some conclave and come and do a press conference and all these things, this is all bogus. The meaning of do or die as an idiomatic expression is there for everybody to see. My brother and his elves in the NPP are not illiterates. They have dictionaries, even on their phones. They should go and consult the dictionary for meaning and stop this attitude of always trying to couch things in a manner that is not there.
Is there not an advantage to speaking so clearly that one doesn't have to consult the dictionary every time you open your mouth?
I am saying that This is an idiomatic expression that we have learned from school. Primary school, we learned do or die. So I don't see why anybody, particularly those making the noise, to come and be saying the things that they are saying. As for me,
is it not context? I mean, years ago when Chairman Rawlings, they had a song, JJ, do something before you die. Is this the same? Is it on the same level?
The all makes a change.
The all?
The all.
Okay.
The all. But of course, when we're in school, you are saying JJ, do something. Wasn't it before JJ, I make capital, do something before you die? Haven't you heard?
I didn't know about that remix.
You didn't know. That predicted Rawlings.
I think I like that one even more.
So all these things are there. Look, Kavi.
Yes, sir.
So Sunday, Olympics and Hearts are going to be. Don't we always say, Charlie, NL, do or die? Does anybody die? When you are going to write O level, don't we ascribe do or die to subjects we are going to write? That Charlie for the mass, Charlie, do or die. Is that not it? Is it not true?
Is the election math?
So the point we are saying is that if it is mathematics, we say do or die, because Charlie, if you don't give it all your best shot,
you go fail.
You go fail. So we are saying that as for this election, we are going to give it our best of shots.
Why do you think that your opponents, political opponents, are playing with or are ascribing a different meaning to that guy?
I share their pain because they know what they have done and they are afraid that it is in that context that we are looking at it. But that is not so. As for us,
what did they do?
Okavi, are you oblivious to all the things that happen in the 2020
elections? They're telling me they know what
they know. They
so
know that they sent military men.
They
know that they sent military men to shoot at people in the police station. They knew that they manipulated the election. They knew all the shenanigans that they did ran up to the election. We are saying that, well, at the time, we gave you the benefit of doubt. That, we trusted you to know that we are apostles of democracy and therefore you play fair. Now that we are confident that under no circumstance would the NPP play fair, for us it will be a do or die affair.
You stand by your leader.
But if he had apologized, I would have been very, very angry. I'm happy that he's keeping to his word, because the word has a clear-cut meaning, and the person speaking it knows what he's talking about.
Is he being controlled by the grassroots now?
No, he's giving his grassroots hope, and we are going. It's not just talk. We are going to work towards it.
In what way?
We'll train people and we'll ensure that we'll put in place mechanisms that will ensure that anything that the NPP brings to the polling station to disrupt the elections, we'll meet them.
Is this part of some propaganda effort to influence the news cycle, drop these jabs so that for 2-3 days people are consumed with this and you are distracting intentionally
until the NPP came to have the press conference and all these things that we were talking about and raising issues about do or die? Who in the NDC made noise about do or die? The President Mahama on that thank you tour has said more meaningful things. This one, he was even talking to his party soldiers on radio. All of us, that Charlie, next time we'll look sharp. And then that is what they go and take. But he's talked about healthcare, he's talked about education, he's talked about failures in the system, he's talked about corruption. Why are they not hammering on those ones? Why are they not hammering on those ones? They want to use this one as a cover-up, but we will not allow them. As for President Mahama, he has given us a message. Do or die in the next election. We will prepare towards it to ensure that the next election we will do whatever it takes to come out victorious.
What does the die part of that do or die mean to the NDC?
The die means that then you continue to stay in opposition.
Opposition is death, eh?
Every word has its contest.
How tough is it?
If you are condemned to opposition, is it not tantamount to death? Is it not?
Well, I'm not a politician.
No, but I'm saying that if they condemn you to prison, is it not tantamount to death? When you are put in condemned cells. Well, so the point he is making is that looking at what we are going through, looking at the economic hardship, the intimidation of our members, people being sacked from their jobs, people being companies who are perceived to be NDC being closed down. Yesterday I was with somebody and the story the person told me as to why his $1 million company has been closed down. It's heart-wrenching. So Mr. Mahama is telling you that, Charlie, at the next election we don't have a choice than to put in our best and win. I don't know which part of it that make them so scared about this kind of thing.
Is he your flag?
But you see, they are afraid of their own shadows.
Is he your flag bearer for 2024?
Well, it's a decision President Mahama will make. And it's a decision that will be confirmed by all the people who have the right to vote for that.
When?
So the best of our knowledge, nobody has come to say I'm challenging President Mahama. When we get to that, in the last election, people came and challenged it. Maybe this time too, some people will come and challenge it.
Okay.
But whoever the party chooses will remain to come out victorious will come out victorious. But for now, he is an immediate past flag bearer.
Okay.
And he has a right to speak on behalf of the party.
Let me read comments. 055-556-1034. We're looking at the do or die comments that has raised a firestorm of conversation in political circles all around Ghana. Okay, hello, good morning. This is Mohammed Shafiu from Kaswa. Please let the NDC rep know that we all heard the tape. Mr. Mahama addressed the issue and ended on do or die. He started by saying everything happens with reasons. We're not going to court in 2024. He says we have learned our lesson in 2020 election. 2024 will be do or die at the polling stations. Yeah. Good morning. So do or die is the main issues in this country. Are we serious in this country? Well, I believe we all here are quite serious. You need to speak for yourself, sir. Good morning. Abdul from Tamale. The word the former president used isn't right. We just witnessed a coup in our neighboring country, Guinea. So all the words are a threat to the nation. So the Peace Council needs to call him to order. Election isn't about violence. You guys are trying to gag me. Kafu, you have to stop asking these former MPs how life is going after the MPship, which I like very much. Okay. Do I have to stop? No, I have to ask them how life is. Yeah. Don't gag me, please. From Richmond, Ninote, from 25. Says he wants to talk about something else. Whether I'll die, be die, or do or die, all I know is I'm not dying for any politician to come to power. That's Mark from Bachona. And what is Mr. Lowe saying? That Mahama is a fine communicator? Has he forgotten the bulldozer and the fry story when Kufuor used a sledgehammer? Use a sledgehammer. I don't quite get that context, but these are your comments so far. 055-556-1034. We are moving to something else. No more do or die.
But
no more do or die.
Just a quick
reminder. No, the conversation has died. You've done, and the conversation has died.
No, it's not.
You have done. It is.
Because my colleague
you can talk later on. PWDs have threatened a demonstration.
Yes.
And I'm also going to demonstrate. If we continue. Please. Wrapping up comments, I'll give you a couple of minutes to wrap up. Okay?
Very well.
So this is very important. So the PWDs are persons with disability, and they are threatening a demonstration. This is on the front page of today's Newsday. So they're talking about action at the toll stations. So they are working with Tolls and Routes Management Limited. Never knew there was an organization like that. They've announced their intention to embark on a peaceful demonstration next Tuesday. So it's happening in Accra to drum home their demands for improvement in working conditions for all PLWDs, people living with disabilities, okay? So they've notified the various people, the police, and they said the protest will start from 37 Military Hospital at 9 a.m. next Tuesday. A few quotes for you. It's in the interest of justice that the unfair treatment of persons with disabilities at the various toll booths should be condemned. It will be peaceful to ensure orderly procession. COVID-19 protocols will be observed, and all protesters will be masked, and they will present a petition to the president at the Jubilee House, and then proceed to the Ministry of Roads and Highways to present another one to the sector minister, and they're asking for security arrangements to ensure the safety of all leaders who participate in the demonstration. Well, demonstration is a right, and I believe that they are fighting for better conditions of service. We will speak to them at some point in time to find out exactly what the situation is, but you can't really argue with that, can you? PLWDs believe they're not being treated right, and they want their issues dealt with. What's your take on
this? They haven't opened the condition of service for us to see what the content is. So it will be difficult for some of us to discuss it. But I know this current government under the leadership of Honorable Amwakwanta, the Roads Minister, decided to reserve portions of the work for at the toll booth to the people with disability. And I think when you go there, you see them in the booths. Maybe they are talking about the accessibility by their members into the various booths and also the areas where the tools are, or the toll booths where the tools are being collected. And also maybe the condition of service may also include their salaries and how they are transported from their various homes to the tool centers. So I think management or the private company that have been consulted or contracted to do this work with the people with disability should sit down with them. It's not everything that we should wait for people to demonstration before we know what to do. So I believe that they should try and sit with them and know exactly what the demands are. If it is the condition of service, yes, I've seen ever since when they have seen some form of renovations and additions to the various toll booths, and also we should try to protect them. Some happened quite short ago when a vehicle runs into the toll booth,
yes,
killing people, and injure some people.
You're right.
And you know, people with disability, when sad vehicles are coming to smash their toll booth, it will be difficult for them to run away. So we must try and put certain things that can prevent them or protect them from these drivers. And drivers must also try to respect the right of the disabled people who are being used as a toll collector for us at the toll booth. Okay. When we are approaching the booth, you must slow down and know that somebody with a disability may cross from one booth to the other, and even at times stretching of their hands to take the money from the motorist must also
we just need to be more considerate.
Exactly. Yeah, so once we have changed the business working for us, and we know they have some disabilities, we must try to do things that can make their work very easy and comfortable for them.
George,
but
no, you get your point. Don't, when we are wrapping up, you make your point. George, George, happen.
I sympathize a lot with this. People with disabilities. PLWs. Because I live every day. Where I live, I pay toll every day. Before the toll booth is very close to my area, by my house. So I see them on daily basis. And Kafi, sometimes when you've traveled or you, for some reason, you have to leave the house at dawn or something, and you see that they have a booth which is opened and they are at the mercy of mosquitoes, at the mercy of the cold, you know, and all that, your heart goes out to them. Even when people who are able, and like you said, who are able and they are able to react, it's difficult. So for Abates, I think that a lot more than just money should go into their conditions of service. He made one very important point. You see these booths, they've just been put there. There is no barricade where even a car is coming to smash, it can stop. There's no protective thing around.
So like a guardrail.
Like a guardrail or something. And even the booth itself should be very modern, enable them to go around, have a place where they can sit and eat, you know, and things like that. But they put a bottle of water or something. It's not designer friendly for them, and it makes life. And he's right. Sometimes you have slowed down. You want to pay. They have to pull the chair and stretch before they can, you know, receive their money and give you receipts and things like that. So yes, they have a case there, and I agree with him entirely. One of the things we don't learn to do is that when people are complaining or something, we feel sometimes, I don't know if we feel too big or something, but management should have sat with them by now. I'm sure that they didn't just get up and say we're going. I'm sure that several letters would have gone and it's been treated with disdain. No, we don't mind those people. We are even giving them a job. Look at what they are doing. That shouldn't be the attitude. The attitude should be that, look, let's sit with them. Let's see what
Jojo is better than war.
So I hope that their attention is paid to them immediately and that they don't have to trek with all their challenges all the way to the plaza house. And I think it's too much work we are putting them.
They need to talk.
We need to talk and we need to start making them understand that we have their welfare at heart.
So that's George Lowe, current vice chairman of the National Democratic Congress in the Volta region. Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you, George.
And Mr. former MP for Nokai and Mr. Samuel Ayepe, former MP for Ayen Suanu in the Eastern region. What did you want to say in 30 seconds? In 30 seconds, we are done.
My brother said that we should go to dictionary and define what is do or die. And do or die simply means persist even if death is the result. That's what Google is giving us from the Oxford Advanced Dictionary.
Yes.
So I just want to, and also want to put it on point, that in 2020 elections, nobody was killed at the polling station, and the word here is at the polling station. Nobody was killed.
Thank you very much.
Those who were killed, most of them were when former President Mahama asked his supporters
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We will not allow.
Nobody was killed at
to killing this time. We are saying that we are only one
that nobody was killed at the police station.
Whether give it whatever the police you want. I'm saying that whatever you want.
Jay is on the
line. Death is going
to be do or die.
Thank you very much. We are doing our keep an eye right now. No deaths involved, and my colleague is on the ground. Hello. Good morning. You are on, no? How are you, sir? Jay Gabra, what's up?
Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Keep an Eye. Great discussion just gone by. So this morning, usually on Rush Hour, we invite road users on alternative routes they can use to find their way towards their various destinations. So this time around, we're heading to the broadcasting house, and then the Google Maps told us to pass this side. So we passed some around the Pong area and heading towards Temama here. And I understand this side is called the West African Pipelines area. And we just want to highlight the bad nature of the road network in this area. You see behind me how how vehicles struggle when they are using the road. And I happen to have stopped a driver who uses this route regularly, will speak to us and tell us how long the place has been like this, and if possible make an appeal to an authority so that they can just come and fix the road for road users. Hello, boss. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your friend saying?
Friend Mata.
Ata. Until what are you quite well now?
The Debbie and I'm so cool. Equatama, a code winner. Omo ko do ya pram traffic nti obi a na offer akwa we ya say yen na o se tie me ne ti so mo hwe na mo ya akwa we ya say yen na
we enye pon kwatama so tema
aha de o hwe mo anka kampo katama so asase ho what dey ase by akwa we ya say a cha sank pon katama so mo hwe na mo ya akwa we ya say me bua akwa me batama ha be 15 years a me akwa we say ya neti
quite with 50 years that's what to say
ya neti me ba hanom no me ba tamahan 50 years say ya na kwan we ya ati besi sable say ya neti so mo shona mo ya no mo ya kwan we
nkofu pe na mo na mo akasa authority ben na mo de
authority me ni TDC de bia de complain ko de bia na so omo nhwembo
uni assembly member bi area ha no obetimi akasa omo bi on your behalf
de bia omo nam ha omo so mo na some asem no hwe omu pa even companies and na am ha kra nya asem ko bia kwan we ya no osu ko ba bia na some hwe some be ya kwan we de some te nkan mu kan tell na ado ne authorities omo ha no be hwe kwan we ma kwan we say ache pa.
Okay, thank you. So basically what Ata is saying is this place has been in the state for quite a while, for approximately 15 years now since he started residing in Tema, and there are a number of companies who whose companies here, a number of companies here, who also use this route towards their place, whose workers use this route towards their way of work, and also struggle when they are using this route as well. And they've appealed to a number of authorities, including the assembly member for TMA and Pong Katamanso. And so far, nothing has been done at the moment. There's another driver who is standing beside him. Boss, please come. I'll just also seek his opinion briefly about the road network here, the road nature, the nature of the road over here. Thank you. Boss, welcome. Patrick Frozen. Samuel. I'll also utai you kwan we ana.
You super last Friday and so twice in the car I'm small from 5:30 to 8 p.m. as I'm to be able to me 3 p.m.
3 hours what kwan we so
so heaven and earth.
Oh really? It is so tall then they see.
You can see this place is flooding. You can see it is the level of the car my door no. I so ataho.
Okay.
I so ataho no na. Aha nyina flooding. Aha nyina flood me car at here for 3 hours now so to me jansium our high last Friday and so toy. And I did ask you a road work insurance. Police will have a jump way so. Every movie as a see police will have a jump. Now Ghana pen I mean say police need me rough road so I check road works. Ghana pay and I tell my police for Monday 5:30 p.m. I be jump on soon I'm check here. Amunda.
Matthias say go dodge traffic or this side.
Yeah, the traffic going far.
Almost dodge traffic or that mean main road or into further side now. So because of traffic, that when your main road, almost far this side, it dodgy traffic.
Almost far this side. Now I want to say, dodgy traffic. Say, use main road. No, this is the main road to Tema.
Okay.
And just go and look at the road. Very, 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 very bad.
Okay. Thank you so much. So these are some of the drivers who usually ply this route. We usually ply this route, and we have gotten some opinions. They are very distressed about the situation. Apparently, this area gets very flooded when there's a heavy downpour, and they are pleading with authorities to come to their aid and fix this area as soon as possible. You could tell he was quite distressed and all that. So we just wanted to highlight this situation and bring it to the authorities' attention. So whichever body is in charge in this area, if they can come and do something as soon as possible for residents in this place, it will help the situation. Thank you so much, and this has been Keep an Eye from the West African Pipelines Road here in the heavy industrial area, Tema heavy industrial area.
Horrible road, yeah, but interesting name, West Africa Pipelines Road. And that guy who was swearing left and right, he just thought it brought me to a Bible verse here, Matthew chapter 5, verse 34. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to simply say is yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. Charlie, swearing by heaven and earth there, Charlie, it's crazy. Don't want to do that. God is like that. Hashtag GTV breakfast. Still to come, lots of conversations on World Fetal Alcohol Day, which is today. Alcohol syndrome. So if you're pregnant and you've been drinking Apio.
When I was doing Russia.
Yes, I hear you very well. But don't rush to drink alcohol when you are pregnant. You affect your child. We have something on that. And then there's a 48-hour film challenge, which you don't want to miss on this show. And I asked the question, how early do you have breakfast? And responses are coming in. Official Ahaji says, I was thinking maybe 5 or 6 hours after I wake up. But that's my schedule time these days. And it's 101. Those are my tactics. You know what 101 is, right? Breakfast, no lunch, supper. 101. Nana says, 7 a.m. sharp, I have my breakfast. Taking my Tom Brown as I type this. You're making me very hungry. Hustlers don't have eating timetable. We eat anything and at any time we get it. Omar Bongo. Definitely not the African president, but Omar Bongo from Ghana. Let's take another report from our man on the ground. This is Alan, and he's somewhere on the La Road by a very interesting building that I've always wondered, who does this building belong to? Alan, hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Kafui, and welcome to Keep an Eye. We're coming to you directly from the La Road. This stretch of road is that which comes all the way from the Central Business District Accra through the coastline towards Tema, the harbour, or into the Tema environment, Sakumano and the rest of them. Where I'm currently standing, for those who know this stretch of road, the moment you go past the junction that turns into La Mami, and you're going towards the La Palm Royal Beach or the La Beach, you would see this stretch of land to your right which has so much rubbish piled up on there. This same bit is used for refuse dump, but thanks to the foresight of the assemblyman and his ability to mobilize members of his community, this land has been regenerated and garden chairs have been erected, and so people can sit here and relax and catch a night view of the sea and the rest of them. This is the first in our focus for today's presentation on Keep an Eye. We're going to be panning around to look at this building you mentioned earlier. It's a 17-floor building, and it's been sitting here for quite a number of years. It would interest you to note that this was supposed to have been a beachfront hotel, we're told, but our sources at the local assembly, the Ladade Kotopon assembly, tell us that this structure was stopped in its tracks because it failed structural integrity tests. From where they stand, if this had been allowed to go on, chances are it will naturally come tumbling down because contractors did not keep to agreed structural positionings and structural requirement. A few visits were made to this structure in order to ensure that the builders are keeping, or the contractor is keeping, to the architectural and structural engineering plan. That after a few visits was established that no, there are defects and this would not be sustainable, or it would not guarantee the life of this structure. And so the structure, as you can see in your shot, if you have the aerial shot or the still shot, we have a 17-floor building. Attached to it is a car park, and it has been left sitting there. We went on further to ask why it's been sitting there, or whether they're engaging the investors for a possible consideration of this being continued. What we're told is that from when they were served notice to stop because it has failed structural integrity tests, the investor packed bags and baggage and left. And so this has been sitting there. I went on further to find out whether or not there's been any attempt to reach them to come back, but none whatsoever. No attempt has been successful in reaching them. And so this, as we can see, is sitting there. What we're afraid of, however, is the kind of haven it provides for possible criminal hideout.
Jay, this is, so this, they can't find the person who owns this building?
A few young, yes, it appears they know the owners of the building, but as to whether they're available for any further discussions to continue, that we're not told.
That building looks like it could topple. You know, there was an angle we saw, and the thing was leaning like that, leaning tower.
It does. In fact, if you go close to the lower ground floors, you'd be scared to even stay within for more than 10 minutes. We took a walk around. My research team and myself took a walk around both the car park and the structure itself. In fact, I was tempted to climb up, but I had to give up because of what I saw.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That looks very dangerous.
You're welcome, Kafui. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. So that uncovers the mystery of that building. I drive by and I'm always wondering, who owns this building? You know, I don't know, but I think if this were China, they would have blown this building down long ago. Just put some explosives there, bring it down, boom, and then use the land for something else. I mean, the building doesn't look safe. The owner is not coming to come and explain. Just blow it away. I mean, take action. That is a dangerous building. But thanks very much, Alan, for the report. It's a hashtag GTV breakfast. Beautiful Thursday, throwback Thursday. Still to come, living in the margins of Ghana and fetal alcohol syndrome, which is we're celebrating that day today, marking that day today, and the 48-hour film challenge. If you have anything on your mind, if you're still wondering why Mr. Mahama is defending his do or die comment, or you think, oh, Charlie, no allies, no problem. I mean, all die be die came, nothing happened. Do or die will happen, nothing will happen. Let us know, 055-556-1034. Comments on what's happening in Guinea. The president, as in his capacity as ECOWAS chair, with his colleagues, they've taken Guinea out, suspending them from ECOWAS. Meanwhile, the coup leader there has released 80 political prisoners. What do you make of that? We want to hear your comments on that as well. And anything that is tickling your mind, 055-556-1034. A couple of messages, and then I'll hand over to my colleague, Thelma, waiting in the wings. Good morning, breakfast show. Do or die, please. Does it hold a gun or kill anybody? What of all die be die? Blessing, Seduji, Richard at Abumusu. So the equalization is happening big time on WhatsApp, 055-556-1034. Whether do or die is not the problem. The problem is when the referee, that is the EC, is shelved by the court not to talk. Prince from Kumasi. And OPK from Gosu says a long message. Keep it short. You're talking about the dead goat syndrome, Yenti Obia, and many things. The key to getting your messages read is to keep it short. When you write the thesis, my eyes just glaze over, all right? So keep it short. Okay, all right, so this is hashtag GTV Breakfast. We're back to continue with more on the show. Remember, 48-hour film challenge, living in the margins of Ghana, and fetal alcohol syndrome day. You stay.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the... Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. live from GBC Studio 1. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show.
In this era of terrorism, of security, this is not right.
There were these rediffusion boxes that could be found in lorry parks in the most remote areas of Ghana. Even on your way to farm in the middle of nowhere, there was a rediffusion box that entertained, but even more importantly, informed.
We have power on our meter that we can transmit. It is just our equipment are not functional.
Whichever way you look at it, a government must be interested in every community, every citizen having access to information that is of public use and public interest.
So if they are about 60 years after independence, then I think it sends a very dangerous signal.
Thanks for staying with us. Quite a suspenseful start to this sit down with Napoleon Atukito of GBC. We know that information is power. With the right information and knowledge, you can control your own destiny, career, etc. Knowledge gives you the power of decision making because of the information that you have. And public service broadcasters are required to provide a varied range of programs for every group in society. The public broadcasting organizations use their radio, television, and internet and mobile services to provide that information through programming. They are also responsible for providing a reliable news service. But how does it feel to be living in the borders of Ghana, for example, and be receiving television, radio, and phone signals from neighboring countries? Does it make you feel neglected, or does it make you feel like you don't belong? How are you able to make political decisions when you don't have access to the country's information? The persons who are vying for your vote, if you don't have access to their messages, how do you make an informed choice? And someone has been looking into those matters very, very critically, and he's calling it Living in the Margins of Ghana. And it's a documentary put together by Napoleon Atukito, which tells the story of Ghanaians living in the margins of the country. And we've just seen the promo of that documentary, which will be premiering on GBC's channel later today. Welcome back from your trek across the country.
Thank you,
Napo.
Thelma. Thank
Atukito.
you. Yeah.
A lot of people know Napoleon Atukito, but they hardly ever get the opportunity to put a face to the name.
All right.
So today you are here. Welcome to the table.
Thank you, thank you.
You've traveled to the farthest parts of the country, so
Exactly.
to the north, to the west, and to the east. And you put this documentary together because. Why is it so important?
Well, thank you very much, Thelma. We have been looking around. I got a hint that parts of the country are not receiving information at all. So I informed GBC management that I would like to look at it. But the lead to this, our deployment to the ground or location, was the call by people in certain parts of the country that they are not receiving GBC at all.
So that was your motivation?
That was my motivation. And of course, GBC, we pride ourselves to be the station that has the nationwide coverage. But I got a sense of a paradox here where whilst our mantra is so on the ground, it is not like that.
So the television and radio signals are not nationwide?
It's not nationwide. They are not nationwide at all. We visited places in the country, places like Osei Chrome in Western North, which has a border with Cote d'Ivoire. They used to have a GBC radio station called Unique FM. It's no more operational. Why? Because they say that their transmitter stations are dysfunctional. And why are the transmitter stations dysfunctional? It's because the interface between GBC and the electricity supplier, that is ECG, has been challenging. You know, has faced some challenges of late where GBC has not been able to pay up, you know, its operational costs to the electricity supplier. And therefore, at a point, ECG decided to disconnect GBC in areas that they think GBC is not facing up its cost. Now, these disconnections led to some of our transmitter stations across the country rendered, let me say, dysfunctional. If you go to High in Upper West region, it's no different. When you go to Bole in Savannah region, it's no different. When you go to places around Nkwanta in Oti region, a place like Kwe, which is also a border town to Togo in Oti region, they also don't have any reception at all, both radio and television. If you go to Chereponi and Saboba, which is also at the northern pole of our border with Togo on the east, they too have challenges receiving our reception, you know. But I want to go back and explain why this documentary has brought me to Breakfast Show. It is because there's some unique features about this documentary.
Okay.
You know, we have done a lot of documentaries in GBC. I playing an active part in that.
Indeed, you are the head of documentaries
exactly
at GBC, and so you supervise a lot of the documentaries that we see on our screens and will see in the coming weeks and months.
Exactly. And so, talking about the unique things that it's about.
Even the name is unique,
yes.
Because you are saying living in the margins of. Why living in the margins?
Yes.
What's the margin?
Yes. You can see it in two levels. You know, one has to do with those who are living on the peripherals of the country in terms of geolocation. You know, those in the border areas. So you realize that the places that I've mentioned so far are all located in the extremities of the country. High, Osei Chrome, Chereponi, Saboba, Kwe, and there could be more if we had the budget to stay longer and research further. But I'm saying that this documentary is projected to be a unique documentary because of its unique features. One of them being the fact that the pace is very slow. No, the word intensity of this documentary, living in the margins of Ghana, doesn't overshadow the visuals. You know, many a time we do documentaries and you see that it is verbose, the narrative is verbose, and it doesn't allow you to breathe. I call that type of documentaries as extension of the news. You know, news are supposed to be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you know, that average time of 2 minutes. But when you do a documentary that has a verbosity of narration on the visuals, then it sort of drowns the visuals. Meanwhile, this is supposed to be a television documentary where you want people to watch the visuals.
So the pictures should tell the story.
The pictures are telling the story. In this Living in the Margins documentary, where the pace is a bit slow, you can relax and watch, whilst we use our respondents in our interviews to tell the story further.
And what did the respondents say? I presume that if you live in the margins, as you put it, it would not be a very good feeling to be in the country and receive signals from another country.
Yes, that is where I stumbled on information that gives me mixed feelings. One, I take pride in the fact that some of our respondents are saying that they look up to GBC for direction. It's very heartwarming to hear that on the ground. In an environment where there's a breakneck competition among players in the media industry, to find from the people saying that GBC is their primus inter pares, and therefore they also, you know, reminisced about some of our content that probably are not more showing on our screens, and they are calling for them. Now, I spoke to Director General of GBC some time ago, who was saying that even if, you know, public service broadcasting must be financed in a way, And GBC was established by an act of parliament in pre-colonial times through all governments till today to be the spearhead of public service broadcasting. Now, in that role, GBC is supposed to provide information that are edifying, that are authentic, that are useful to the public so that they can live by them. Now, in this pluralistic environment that we find ourselves, there we have private media operating, we have social media too. And social media, we all know, is a theater of anything at all, where we don't censor, we don't edit. The private media is also profit-driven, and therefore they they go to areas where they think they can make money. That is where the central role played by GBC, supposedly to be a central spine in information delivery, is very critical. And I know that.
But it appears from what you're telling us that there is a sense of feeling of letdown, that the signals are not working.
That is why.
Do they blame GBC? Do they feel that we should be held, because I work at GBC, so we should be held responsible for the break in the communication chain to those areas?
The public probably is dangling in a certain darkness. They are not aware of what are the reasons behind, or the underlying factors behind GBC not reaching them. But we, in our investigations, discovered, though
so what was the reason? What's GBC's reason? What's our reason? Since I've put myself in the circle, what's our reason for being unable to reach these areas? You've mentioned the indebtedness to ECG. Exactly. Is that the only thing?
That's one of the problems. And also, some of our machines dates back, time immemorial, and therefore, once they are old machines, their efficiency is not very much good, and therefore they use up a lot of electricity. But that aside, people are clamoring for GBC because they feel that they are not getting the information that they deserve from other sources. In some places like Kwe in Oti region, you have to climb to the highest point of the area before you can even receive mobile telephony signals. So both radio and television are lacking in those places lying on the border areas of the country. But people are worried they are not receiving information because, one, they think that they deserve to have GBC. For example, somebody even mentioned Akan drama. Some of them mentioned the Olympic Games, that while they just ended the Olympics in Japan was ongoing, they were not receiving it, and they were looking up to GBC.
So they watch TV from another country, possibly in French, because we are surrounded by French-speaking countries.
Exactly. Wherever there is a vacuum, yesterday I was saying it, and maybe I have to repeat it, that whenever there is a space, air will occupy that space. At least that is elementary, fundamental thing about science.
Yeah.
And so when GBC or Ghanaian information flow doesn't reach certain parts of the country, it's likely to be occupied somehow. And in this context that we are discussing, making this discussion, the vacuum has been occupied by information or the other sources that are coming from the neighboring countries. And it will be interesting to know that some of our people, citizens of Ghana, lying on the fringes or the periphery of our map, do the adverts, place the adverts in the media of other countries, because that is what they are familiar with, that is all they know.
I find that quite interesting, because if you're in Ghana, you would presume that you place adverts in Ghana media spaces, but you're telling us it is placed in other countries to reach certain targets within Ghana's territorial space.
Yes, that is what is happening. And talking to experts, because I decided to get a better understanding of the whole issue. So I spoke to Professor Kwame Kekari, a professor emeritus of the School of Communication Studies at the University of Ghana, Legon. I spoke to Professor Kwesi Enin, the Dean of Academic Affairs of Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. And, of course, my own Director General, Professor Mina Lassan, was also a resource person to me. And in their, semantics, which were different, but all uniting at one central point, they are saying that it is dangerous for a nation to have part of their citizens, looking up to other countries for information.
What's the risk here if we have people relying on other countries for information that they are not sourcing from their own countries? What could possibly be wrong with that?
Well, information is meant to give you tips on how to live your life and what is happening around you. And therefore, if you don't receive information, you operate in darkness. There's this advert that says that if you have a business which you don't advertise, then it means that you're operating in darkness. This scenario can be likened to this advert where they are in the country, they don't know what is happening in the country, they are cut off from mainstream information, and therefore now looking up to others. It means that, first of all, they are completely truncated from national activities. That's the first thing. Now, it also means that part of your citizenry are no more yours. Do you agree with me, Thelma?
That's
because they don't receive any information from you. They don't hear anything that is happening in your country. Of course, there is a BBC, there's a Global Picture, there is a CNN, there is a social media.
But there's no community relation.
Yes, that is why public service broadcasting becomes important. That GBC was established to spearhead that particular agenda of where everything fails. GBC was established to provide those services to the people. Not necessarily to make profit, but to ensure that people have reliable information. And of course, we all know GBC to be an information channel of outreach.
An authentic and trusted
Exactly.
voice.
That will always ensure that we preview our material before it gets out there.
Then the question on people's minds would be, do they vote? And how do they make their decisions on who to vote for, who is even vying for their votes if they do not have access? Do our brothers and sisters in the political arena show up during elections to tell their message directly to them?
Oh, of course. I have followed politicians in a campaign trail to Osekwiju Krom, for instance, in Western North, when it used to be part of the greater Western region. We were there. We've gone to Hein before. But Kwe have not been there. But generally, I think that the political campaign trail touches the nooks and crannies of the country.
And they don't ask for services to be extended or for a stronger signal or for support to get information from within Ghana?
No. Political campaigning has been a one-sided affair where the politicians get there amidst pomp and pageantry. When things settles, then they begin to, speak to the people in a rally. It's not a question and answer sessions. That is why those town hall meetings will become necessary going forward. Of course, some are held, but the agenda had not looked at this very, I would say, unique aspect of our life where some people are not receiving information at all.
It sounds like it might be a very capital-intensive venture, what you're saying, if GBC has to assume its rightful place as an authentic source of information for these margins that you talk about. Did you ask the DG, the Director General, what the plan is then to fix this problem?
Well, we are all here in GBC, and we know that the Director General has been very forthright and forward-looking in trying to place GBC, position GBC in a position, in a manner that the corporation will not only be competitive in the industry, but also serve people with regards to its mandate. You know that. So DG is somebody who thinks that GBC must, justify every revenues or financial support that may come to it through good content and good operations. That is why recently we held this seminar on bureaucracy to business. And when you talk about GBC, because the capital-intensive nature of its capital-intensive nature, you realize that we, in the past, spoke about TV licenses, for instance, which generated a lot of furore, and it was shelved. But public service broadcasting, in one way or the other, ought to be funded. And when you go to any, when you go around the world, Australia, Norway, Denmark, Germany, US, public service broadcasting exists and they are funded one way or the other. But, you know, in terms of the financial challenges, if you want to pry into a place like TV licenses, it will not only serve us right in terms of trying to do more to deepen our content, because, for instance, this documentary that I'm talking about, Living in the Margins of Ghana, could have even been better had we had more budget, more money to stay in the hinterland, in the trenches a bit longer, to get even more germane sources to confirm the theme that we are espousing here. So, in terms of TV licenses, for instance, GBC, according to Director General, he is not bringing up that issue at all. But he is saying that for getting that quantum of money that GBC would deserve, he will just going to invest it in some of, modernize our activities, our operations, and also ensure that we are able to give the content that people deserve, you know. But in subtly, he also believes that based on the information deficit that are on the ground, with respect to what we have already discussed here now, he will have even preferred using any additional funds in ensuring that he maintains radio stations in place and also add more, because some, wherever you go, some are also clamoring for radio stations. In that respect, we are deepening information flow to the people. So additional money, people normally misconstrue this, that when you pay TV license, it's only meant for TV content. Not only that, GBC must use any sources of finance to, promote its activities nationwide in all outlets that it provides, or it really operates. You know, so in a nutshell, I would say that the DG stands for a GBC that will make money, but premised on its good content, its good services to the people. But both are mutually reinforcing. Ghanaians must see GBC, or the public service broadcasting, as their own, for which they are ready to support. The other players, which some of them have taken to, are not their own, because they are profit driven. That's why when GBC is not there, the other stations are also there, not there either.
Indeed, because we're talking about an age of media, an overflow of media in capital cities especially. So Accra, 50 plus at the very least FM stations, if not more. Newspapers in abundance, TV almost in every corner. So to witness such proliferation in some parts and zero or near zero in other parts of the country,
that's heartbreaking.
It's very worrying.
But it also underlines why we did this documentary. It answers this documentary in several ways. The private stations are domiciled in Accra and the urban centers because that is where they are going to make money. GBC reaches to the farthest points, the extremities of the country, because it deems it as part of its mandate to reach out to the people without necessarily making money. So that's why when you go to High, for instance, in Upper West, beautiful landscape, but sparsely populated. A village nearby High is called Chapuri, sparsely populated. But GBC has to reach them because it has to take account of each and every citizen of the country by way of information.
You are telling us that you are not the current leadership, so the DG is not raising the issue of TV licenses whilst still insisting that we need the funds. So where is the money going to come from if the DG is saying the issue about TV license has been on the shelf for a while now? Where do we expect to raise? The
stakeholders must probably meet and judge and see the way forward. That's how I see it. If they properly understand the important role of public service broadcasting, I think that they will begin to converge around the need to finance GBC one way or the other in a more sustainable manner to ensure that GBC is able to stand on its feet, pay up certain bills, and give what the people need to them.
So you set out to do this, to tell this story. Give us an idea of the timeline. Where did you left Accra with a crew, or did you meet GBC's other correspondents in other parts of the country? How did you mobilize the visuals and the people that you spoke to put this together?
Well, we set off from Accra. My crew members, Benjamin Kofi Blay, he's a drone pilot, he's a video editor, and he's also a cameraman. But his mainstay has been video editing. This time around, he took on 2 additional roles. There was also Samuel Usu Kranti who did my sound, and one Daniel Usu and Sam who was the driver, basically, and then my production assistant Esther. We went out there. Our first port of call was Asinfosu in Central Region, where they also face similar challenges. We spoke to them. We spoke to our station manager there, who was very clear. Reverend something Entry, he was very, very clear that, well, we have transitioned from analog to digital, but the digital is supposed to be operational. However, it's not, and therefore people have to support themselves with decoders in order to catch signals. Then from Asinfosu, we moved to I think Obuasi to face similar problems. We go to Seville, also the same. It's no different than Sekoju Krum. We then moved to Jamasi and Asante Mampo in Ashanti region before heading for Bole in Savannah. All around, we're looking for evidence to see whether the lead to our deployment was credible, and we were proved right.
So when they turn on their televisions, because I'm sure that they have TVs and radios, what do they see?
Some receive only French television signals.
But are these communities French-speaking communities in Ghana?
They are not. To the extent that some of the citizens, I mean people who reside in those areas, speak French. I don't know whether they are French people who have entered our side of the border, or Ghanaians who are gradually, let me use this word, acclimatizing the French way. But however you look at it, I saw the whole situation to be a bit murky in terms of the fact that they deserve information from the mainstream. Private media will not go there because you don't get money there. It's GBC that's mandated to go there. That is why this documentary must be watched by every Ghanaian to come home to the fact that the GBC that we talk about, it belongs to them and myself. It's ours.
What was your biggest challenge on this journey from Accra through Asinfosu, Obuasi, Jamasi, Bole, and what was the biggest challenge? What was
I would say
for you?
My challenge should be budget. If you get more money, you do better and you do more. That is why the whole thing boils down. It comes back to square one.
So to whom much is given, much is
expected.
And to whom nothing is given.
Don't expect much or nothing at all.
Now, the premiere for this documentary is today.
Yes.
Tell us about what's the exact plan.
Well, I think that people will see the exact time that it will be aired on 3 of our channels. But the channels will be GTV Live, GBC News Channel, and then GTV Main. These are the 3 channels that are going to premiere the documentary. But in terms of the actual time, I think that I will be assisted by the
So we are seeing the promo again, and I think we'll just watch it one more time, and then we'll be back to wrap up.
Okay.
Okay.
Areas of Ghana, even on your way to farm in the middle of nowhere, there was a reducing box that entertained, but even more importantly, informed.
We have power on our meter that we transmit. It is just our equipment are not functional.
Whichever way you look at it, a government must be interested in every community, every citizen having access to information that is of public use and public interest.
So if there are blackouts 60 years after independence, then I think it sends a very dangerous signal.
So, living in the margins of Ghana, a Napoleon Atukito documentary is premiering today across GBC channels. It will be on our GTV live channel at 8 p.m. tonight. It will be on GTV at 8:45 p.m. tonight, and on GBC News, our News and Governance channel, at 1 p.m. You do not want to miss this documentary. And the one who put it all together, the head of documentaries at GBC, Napoleon Atukito, is with me in the studio. Napoleon, what's your final comment, and what would you want people to know ahead of watching this documentary?
Thank you, Thelma. I think that it's about time we nudge ourselves to a certain realization that GBC, as it is owned by all of us, the generality of Ghanaians. And it cannot only be entertainment. GBC has a legal rule. You know, it has been established by a certain parliamentary act or by the law to serve a purpose. And that purpose is public service broadcasting, which translates as information that you deserve, by which you live, and which GBC want to churn to you. Entertainment is there, so GBC has been doing that balancing act. When you compare GBC to other stations or others, you realize that they want to play to the gallery probably sometimes, in terms of putting only entertainment there, dabbling in sensationalism and doing things that may not be professionally right. Our take is to provide information to the public that they deserve, to guide them to live wholesomely, you know. So that is one. In terms of implications for a situation like this, where people don't receive any information from government, for instance, it translates into danger. If you remember a place like Rwanda, it took a radio message that led to the carnage and eventually genocide. And so, while GBC wouldn't like to position itself to be maybe a supreme in the whole gamut of media flow, it is also not a communist or socialist mouthpiece. Its role is that it wants to give you what you deserve, relating to all sectors of, you know, life. It could be agriculture, science, culture, etc., etc.
Ato, thank you for bringing this to the attention of the people who follow us keenly, and we'll look forward to watching that documentary at the times that we've stated. I'll get to the times again, and we wish you well. We wish ourselves well as we seek to perform this important mandate imposed on us by the law. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Napoleon Atukito is head of documentaries at GBC. He's put together a documentary titled Living in the Margins of Ghana. It's capturing the essence of persons who live in towns where they do not receive radio or television signals from Ghana. In fact, even internet or mobile phone signals from Ghana, and have to rely on information from neighboring countries, so Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire and Togo. And in some instances, he's raised concerns about what it would mean for their information ingestion. So that documentary is premiering on GBC today. On GBC News is at 1 p.m. On GTV is at 8:45 p.m. and on GTV Live is at 8 p.m. So you do not want to miss that. You get a better understanding of what public service broadcasting means and what GBC's role specifically is. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll focus on health, and particularly the health of pregnant women when it comes to them consuming alcohol and the effect on the children in the womb and when they are actually delivered. Stay with us. We'll be back.
It's the remix, yeah.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show.
Still live on GTV Breakfast. Join us on the conversations we are having across our social media platforms, and you'll certainly be interested in this part of the breakfast table. We are talking about health of pregnant women, where it relates to their unborn babies and babies that are born to mothers who consume alcohol, and the WHO is very specific when it comes to this topic, and they've set a day aside to monitor that very closely. Alcohol is now recognized as the lead cause of birth defects and developmental disorders in children. The WHO has devoted 9th September of every year to create awareness on fetal alcohol syndrome disorders. So fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, and this syndrome is a condition in a child that results from alcohol exposure during the mother's pregnancy. So when the mother consumes alcohol in pregnancy, the children can have such defects, and it causes brain damage and growth problems, and the problems caused by fetal alcohol syndrome vary from child to child, but the defects are not reversible. With us in the studio to look into this matter is a researcher and also director of ISH Concept, ISH Concept, Mr. Tete Solomon. Tete, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
We are talking about consumption of alcohol during pregnancy. How bad are the findings, since you are a researcher?
Okay, thank you. So on a global scale, we have between 26,000 to about 526,000 people, and the number was actually deduced by my agency, my organization. This is ISH Concept. From figures, statistical figures, we extrapolated these numbers, and I want to say this: fetal alcohol syndrome, it's a spectrum, so it's not just one thing. So there are 5 different variations of the defect. Okay. So the mother or the umbrella condition is called fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. So that's the umbrella. Then the fetal alcohol syndrome is at the extreme. So there are two different, extremities. The very low one, which most people think they take alcohol and nothing happens to the baby. Well, I took alcohol but nothing happens to the baby. I took some wine, nothing happened. They are suffering from the fetal alcohol effects, which is a very, very, mild one. Then the extreme one is a fetal alcohol syndrome, which now you see a lot of, physiological changes in the baby. Okay. So that is it. And locally in Ghana, we don't have the numbers in Ghana.
So we don't know the prevalence rates in Ghana.
In Ghana, we don't have.
Is it that it's not reported, or we have not studied it, we've not researched it?
There's been a little research. The most robust research was over a decade ago. Over a decade ago.
Is that why your organization is interested in
I want this want to do for life. So because I think we have a longitudinal research, because elsewhere they have this data from the 80s, but over here we don't have much research. So there's just bits and pieces of what comes to Kuala Lumpur, and the doctors put together about 10 people, which are cases which are very extreme and not the mild ones.
Okay, so talk to us about the characteristics. You've talked about the spectrum from one extreme end to another. Explain what that means in
Thank
reality.
you. Yeah, thank you. So definitely, so as the condition gets bigger, I can say that the physiological changes or the physical changes gets bigger. So the first of all is the circumference of the head, or the hair circumference. So people with fetal alcohol syndrome usually have very small head sizes, like the circumference of the head. And the eyelids, actually, it folds. There's a lot of folding at the.
So we are seeing something on our screens right now.
Yes. So you see the folding at the ends of the eyes, and the main and one thing which is very unique to alcohol, and that means that there was some, utero introduction of alcohol, is the philtrum. The philtrum is the groove between the nose and the upper lip. So the groove between the nose and the upper lip, that's the groove here, is is missing in these children. So that's one unique, and they also show they're not able to perform in school. They're not able to perform in school. Some of them look quite normal. You think it's a normal baby, but they are not normal because they don't perform well in school. And they have other sensory functions, the disabilities, hearing impairments. Some also come with some heart conditions.
So all these are factors that assist in the diagnosis of children with the spectrum of disorders.
So these ones are very very, very visible, that you don't need so much expertise to see. But the ones below the ones below the threshold, the main threshold, which is the mild ones. We have the fetal alcohol effect and alcohol related birth defects.
What's the difference?
Okay, so as I said, it's 5 different conditions, mainly 5 different conditions. So you have the one which is basic here. It's a spectrum, like a scale. So the first one is a fetal alcohol effects, which is very mild, which usually you don't see. So you need the assistance of a pediatrician, a very good one, a very good pediatrician, and a psychologist to be able to diagnose this. And all has to do with IQ of the baby.
And how early are you able to tell that a child has the condition?
Thank you. In advanced countries, countries like the Eastern Europe, they are able to tell even before the baby comes out. They have certain genetic ways of testing.
Do we have those available here?
No. No, there are a lot of things which we can do over here. There are a lot of machinery that we don't have here. But over here, when the baby is out, they can tell it.
Okay,
yes,
so they can diagnose post-delivery. And then what would be the treatment options available?
Treatment, we only treat the symptoms. So in case the baby has a heart condition, they target the heart condition and treat the heart condition. They attempt treating the heart condition. If the baby has hernia, they attempt treating the hernia. So that's what they do. So it's treatment for the symptoms and not to totally get rid of the baby. It's forever. You can't do much.
So we are talking about mothers consuming alcohol during pregnancy.
Yeah.
Is it from day 1 of pregnancy, or at which point during pregnancy is this most dangerous, if at all?
Thank you. So When it comes to fetal alcohol syndrome, this initiative started when I was a student doing my undergrad in K University, and we started targeting women all over, and even as young as 16. Now you're getting to the high schools. Why? Because we don't want you to inculcate the habit of drinking. You know, there's always, you know, parties, house parties, and you get drunk, and something happens, something leads to one other thing, and you know, sometimes you have, you know, you carry baby without even noticing for about, you know, a month or two. So this alcohol, the effects of the alcohol starts, you know, right after, you know, fertilization. So the first trimester is the key, is the most, you know, sensitive part of the condition. So the first trimester, but it doesn't mean the second trimester, because we have different metabolic rates. We have different hormonal changes. The babies too, some babies are stronger than some other babies. So the best way is avoid alcohol in your reproductive, you know, age.
So once you are looking to conceive or have a baby,
yeah,
definitely
don't take alcohol at all.
Because people say, oh, it's hard liquor that's the problem, so don't take like the hard stuff, the whiskeys and whatnot. But red wine is good for the heart, white wine is fine. Are all those to be avoided entirely? Yeah,
you're supposed to be avoided. Why? Because we have different metabolic rates. I, for instance, I react to alcohol. If I ever take alcohol, quickly, just you know, these basic ones, I'm able to fall. So we have different, and alcohol metabolism is based on so many, pharmacological, you know, metrics. They have something called the BAC, or the body alcohol concentration, and all these things are factors. The concentration of the alcohol that you took, the amount of water in your body at the time you took. So the best way is to avoid, because somebody can take alcohol, like my friend, a very good friend of mine, her mother took alcohol, but she's one of the smartest people I've met when I was in you know, primary school.
So the mother was drinking before she had her.
Yeah, but she's still smart.
She turned out fine.
Yeah, but she could probably even perform better. Because smartness in school A is different from smartness from school B.
Yeah, so someone will listen to this part and say, okay, I'll take my chances. Chances are my child could come out fine.
No, because when it gets worse, there are cases where somebody took beer. There's one funny, you know, documentary, I think I sent it to them, South Africa, and all because the way you metabolize alcohol is different. That is why you should avoid, because you don't have the means to check this basic, how the liver.
At least not in Ghana. When the baby is in the womb, we do not have the facilities to check.
Yeah, it's not even that. What I'm trying to say is that you don't know how your body will react to it and how your body will get rid of it, and it's a very complex, pharmacological, metrics. So the best way is to avoid, because somebody will take beer, and the damage will be huge. Somebody will take apio, and the damage will be very, very minimal.
Somebody saying cognac. I don't like that. Don't say cognac. So for people those of you who think, oh, I'm taking alcohol to make, for whatever reason, like to make my baby lighter skin, or to give my baby a certain, that is not good. Tete, are you saying then that when you consume alcohol and you have a child who exhibits this spectrum, developmental milestones may necessarily not be met?
Yes, please. Yeah.
So they will not grow as much as you would expect.
Yeah.
What kind of support would you need? Because you've dedicated time and resources to this.
Yeah.
So this whole ISH concept is focusing, is adopting this as a project.
Yes, please.
What kind of support would you need?
Okay, thank you. So first of all, we need governmental support. The government has to come in. Why? Because this challenge is not you and your baby. Most people think, okay, it's my baby, I can waste my baby if I want. No. Most of the babies end up with, becoming, causing damage to society. So they end up, in all this hooliganism, rape, and all these things. So most of the babies end up in that way. Because most of them have a condition called the ADHD, the hyperactivity. They have hyperactivity in the way they act in class and all that. So most of them end up in this way. So because of this, we want the government to actually allocate resources to this research, because there are lots that we don't know.
So it's for example, here's a question. He's saying, what about the effects of fizzy drinks on the fetus during pregnancy? Is it the same as alcohol, fizzy drinks? So
fizzy drink as in,
I don't want to mention brands, but
yeah.
The sugar.
No.
That is also.
No. It's only alcohol. I'm talking alcohol.
Okay.
5% this year alcohol.
Okay.
And the government has to allocate research, a long-term research, because they are looking at doing a longitudinal research, not just a few 20 cases. So and anybody who would like to support this initiative, we have our numbers. It's ISH Concepts, and then with mobile money is 024-564-9822, 024-564-9822, and it's a merchant account.
Okay.
So you see ISH Concepts.
Okay. Cool.
And
Thank you.
finally,
quick one.
We are embarking on the health walk on Saturday.
Okay. This is the flyer you gave me.
Yes.
Coming Saturday.
Yes, Saturday.
Okay. And you are doing screening as well.
Yes, there will be some medical screening on Saturday.
Where is it happening?
At Legon. Legon, we have the Pentagon Hall. To
University of Ghana.
Pentagon Hall. Yeah. Okay. To the pool side, and then we do some aerobics.
Okay, thank you so much for appearing, Tete Solomon. He is a researcher and director at ISH. He calls it ISH Concept, and they also invested into health research. They are looking into fetal alcohol syndrome. They are helping to create awareness on the dangers of drinking while pregnant and the effects that it could have on the child. Their message is not to drink at all if you're in your reproductive years, and definitely do not drink when you're pregnant because it will affect the baby. We thank Ishmael for the effort. You can support the cause if you're moved to do so, and the health walk is on Saturday. We have looked at so many things in this program this morning. Remember not to miss that documentary with Napoleon Atukito on the Lifestyle Channel at 8, on GTV at 8:45, and on GBC News at 1 p.m. So Lifestyle Channel and GTV, and on GBC News premiering today. It's live in the margins, and we'll be back. There is another sit down which CAF is going to have on a 48-hour project. Can you shoot a film in 48 hours? Do you know how to? Answers when we return.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show.
Hi, how are you? Let's make a film in 48 hours. Hi, let's make a film in 48 hours. Okay, sir.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the
knowing what you're doing, how you're doing it, and then having the resources to do it. It's totally possible. I mean, usually people ask if it's possible. It's totally possible because you consider it as a short, music video. It's supposed to be 4 to 7 minutes long, and that can be done within a span of 48 hours.
When do you start counting the 48 hours?
7 p.m. Friday night.
Okay.
To 7 p.m.
2 days after.
Sunday night.
Okay. So when 40 hours, would you have had a script already?
No. No.
Zero. The clock starts at zero.
Zero. So that's why we call it an adrenaline sport. Okay, it's a sport. It's an art. But the idea here is, because it's a competition, certain elements, as a filmmaker, you don't have those elements yet. And we are going to give those elements to you before the clock starts.
Okay.
Those elements are prop. There's supposed to be a prop that is going to be in your film that you don't know yet.
Okay.
So we disclose that prop on, almost like 2 minutes to the kickoff.
Okay.
So a prop, a line of genre, and then a line of dialogue, a genre, and then a character that is supposed to be in your film.
And you're going to use those elements to create your movie, which should last between 4 and
7 minutes.
And 7 minutes.
Yes. So you can have a story idea, something that you're already writing. You can have your actors in place. You can have your resources, the equipment, everything in place. But then you don't know exactly what you're filming until the clock starts.
Are you restricted by the number of cameras you can use, number of characters you can have in
No, you're not restricted.
Okay.
You have the creative freedom to do whatever you want to do, and that is part of the process. At the end of the day, what the judges are going to look at is that creativity, how you're able to come up with these elements. I always say, some people were asking, it would be good to give the filmmakers equipment, to shoot their films. And I said, well, that's a good idea, but if I'm to give someone an Ari Alexa to shoot their film,
will he even know how to use it?
Well, some people do.
Yeah, but how many people will know?
Right,
Yeah.
right. But then someone will feel like, I have the skill and ability to use an iPhone 12 to be able to shoot a film.
I was just going to ask whether you could use a mobile phone to shoot your 4-minute movie.
Now,
you can.
yeah,
Okay.
you can do that.
You can. Who are the judges for this 48-hour film project?
We have David Donto, our own David Donto, on it as a judge. We have
Legendary actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have the Nanaya Sapoma, a marketing person who is going to look at this also from the marketing aspect of the films. So we chose them based on their backgrounds. And then we have Lauren Addy. She is an editor, post-production editor. So David Donto is looking at the acting, production, all that, and then post-production. Lauren is looking at that, and then we brought in the marketing side, promotional side, so that this person will also look at the films as which of these films are marketable when it goes to the global competition, can make it into the Cannes Film Festival.
What's the price for the winner? How many winners are you taking, by the way?
So we're taking one.
One winner?
One winner.
Okay. How many people are you expecting to apply?
Expectation was a little high, about 20 teams. It's been quite on the low, But I'm impressed. I mean, the first year, this is our first year, we have about 5 teams that are, registered on, ready to take up the challenge.
Is it too late to register?
It's not too late.
It's not too late to register. What's the deadline for registration?
The deadline is actually tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
The kickoff time.
Okay.
7 p.m. So if you're still interested, if you want to register, you're more than welcome. You can register today, you can register tomorrow until
the
kickoff.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's the price?
The price is a lot. So for me, I look at the global opportunity that is in this. Once you win, you're going against the world. So this competition is happening in 120 other cities, other countries, and the winners go together and then they compete for the bigger prize. Some of those films are selected into the Cannes Film Festival short film corner
in France.
Yeah, in France, exactly. So that is the ultimate prize in this. We were also able to reach out to some of our affiliates to give us some packages for our winners. For instance, I've never disclosed the name, but I'll do it now.
Go ahead.
Moon Palace Grand, which is a 5-star resort in Cancun, is giving us a package for the winning team. This is a package worth $2,500.
Cancun is Mexico?
Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah, Mexico. So we have that as well. We have film school scholarship. We have an international collaboration with my institution where I teach.
Okay, in Colombia.
In Columbus.
In
yes.
Columbus School of Design.
Columbus, yeah.
Okay.
CCA, the Columbus College of Art and Design.
Okay.
To work on projects with my students and then other art players in the Columbus setting.
Okay.
So they're a whole lot.
It sounds mouth-watering.
Yeah.
What is the qualification for somebody to enter this competition?
Once you are a film lover, okay, if you want to create, if you love to create content, this is for you. If you're an upcoming filmmaker, this is for you. If you're yearning to be able to produce content, to create short films, skits here and there, there's some people who want to venture this area, but they don't have that knowledge, that skill in order to do it. So they're doing other small stuff. Again, the resources is not there, the distribution channel is not there. I've been a victim of this, where I produce short films and it's stuck on my hard drive. It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
But this is an opportunity for us all to take advantage of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does somebody register to be part of the 48 hour
registration? And like we said, it's still ongoing. You have to go to www.48hourfilm.com/Accra.
48hourfilm.com/Accra. The 48 are the numbers.
Yes. 48hourfilm.com/Accra.
Okay.
And if you do the .com, you can go, it will take you to the mother website, and then you go to find my event. Accra is number 2 on the list. You see all the cities in there.
And just click for Accra.
Yes, you click on Accra, Ghana, and then you can register your team.
Okay. Hey, so budding film director, do you see yourself as the next Spielberg or Spike Lee or whoever it is? This is your opportunity. 4 to 6 minute movie or 7? 4 to 6
4 to 7.
4 to 7 minutes, and you have up to tomorrow to register. 48hourfilm.com/Accra, and your movie could be shown at the Cannes Film Festival with other great prizes, flying off to Mexico to go chill in the Moon Palace. Yeah. Don't Google it now. It's not in Ghana. It's in Mexico. It's in Mexico. So that's done with the film project. Now tell us about your work as an educator. You're an assistant professor. So what do you do?
I mean, we've been talking about it. What I do is to teach film. Okay. I've practiced it for a while now. I started it here in Ghana.
Okay.
I went out there to do my master's, studied it further, and then I decided to teach whilst I practice it. So I was fortunate. Columbus College of Arts and Design called me on as an assistant professor to take up that producing, script writing, script development, animation, and all that in the department.
What surprises you about the field that you're in?
What surprises me?
Yeah.
The creative individuals that we have in that industry, it's mind-blowing, really mind-blowing, and that is what motivates me, actually motivating me to bring this, project to Ghana, because some of the content that people are creating, even into this film competition, is not, that appealing compared to some of the things that I've watched that Ghanaians are creating. So I'm like, wow, and aside that, with the institution that I teach, there are different disciplines. There are animation, film, industrial designing, and all that, and how people can create stuff, create content. It drives me on. It motivates me to to teach and to help people with what I've learned. And I also learn from them.
Okay.
I learn from them.
It's two-way.
It's a two-way game.
You learn, and they learn, and they teach.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And learn, relearn.
Relearn.
Maybe so. Yeah. Okay, great.
Proud of you, and we hope that you bring the winner of the competition back on the program.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great. So the kickoff is tomorrow, 5 p.m. at the Moving Pick Ambassador Hotel. That's where we are having the kickoff. Once the kickoff is done, the filmmakers are gone. They start working on their project. We're going to be, doing like behind the scenes of whatever they're doing, how they're feeling and all that. And then the following week, that is on the 18th of September, Saturday, we have the premiering and the awards at the National Theatre of Ghana.
And we will see the winners.
We see the winners.
A short list of the winners.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Invite us all.
You're coming.
Thank you, Kingsley.
Kingsley Nyako is assistant professor back in the States, in Ohio, right?
Yes.
Very young for a prof, aren't you?
Yes.
We wanted to see Gray when they say professor.
I know. But it's a long hierarchy. I'm blessed. I always thank God for this blessing, and I was just given that title. I need to put it there, and I'm really fortunate to have that in that setting. Again, that the creatives that I'm working with, it blows my mind.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep getting your mind blown, man.
Yeah. And we want to bring it. We know where we are from.
Yes.
I'm from here. I'm a Ghanaian. And I want to bring that back.
Bring it home.
Yeah, bring it home.
Thank you very much. So remember, it's 48hourfilm.com/Accra. You have 48 hours to put together at least a 4-minute movie,
47.
right? Yeah. And who knows, you could be winning that prize. Just enough time to say happy birthday to you, Asantewa Beatrice Ajikum. Today's your birthday. Enjoy. And then Esther, who is watching us from her office and just enjoying the show. So thank you very much for watching GTV Breakfast.
Okay, there's so much to expect today on GBC's channels. So on our lifestyle channel at 8 p.m. today, you can catch that documentary premiere and Napoleon Atukito's documentary on living in the margins of Ghana. You don't want to miss that. It will premiere on GBC News at 1 p.m. and on GTV at 8:45. We want you to have a look so you can understand GBC's operations better and what more we have to offer to you and I.
Okay, so I'm going to end with Kwame Nkrumah's quote for today. As far as I'm concerned, I'm in the knowledge that death can never extinguish the torch which I have lit in Ghana and Africa. Long after I am dead and gone, the light will continue to burn and be borne aloft, giving light and guidance to all people. Kwame Nkrumah. Yes, and I can see
he knew what he was talking about.
Good stuff. Okay, God bless.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you same time tomorrow, bright and early. Nice day.
Thanks.
Thank you.